This is live from River Ranch, Florida. Okay, our hole shot was number 10. Braden Henthorn, number 10, got the hole shot.
Seconds.
Patty McGuire. Find his number on the sheet because he's not riding his number 1 place. Donnie Domahal. What do you think that is on the whole shot there, Stuart?
To me, it looks like Josh Merritt. I'm not completely sure. I couldn't see any numbers, but I believe it's Merritt.
Guys, we're still shooting with that camera. Do not stop shooting with that camera. Shooting all the way around the car.
Alright, you guys had the first 2 rows again then.
That's our junior A class that started.
Someone working on the audio problem, or is it not being looked at? We need to really get the sound happening. So is there anyone looking at that?
That's our Vet A class. And it looks like number 29. We don't have a rider roster yet, so as soon as we get one, we'll be able to identify some of these guys. We have a new look to GNCC this year. We obviously have a brand new title sponsor, AMSOIL. AMSOIL has been a feature sponsor, part of the series for many, many years, and we welcome them to that title position. Again, we have back a feature sponsor, Can-Am. Can-Am has been with us for 6 years. We feel like we're part of the Can-Am family and are very, very pleased to have them back with GNCC and a premier sponsor with Racer TV. And of course, Rocky Mountain ATV motorcycles. Rocky Mountain ATV, this is their first year with GNCC at the premier level, and they are doing a great job with the fast-track registration process. Everybody who registers, pre-enters for GNCC will get a $20 gift certificate mailed to them. Compliments Rocky Mountain ATV.
Gets heavy after a while, huh? No kid. Killing me.
When Rodney gets back to the TV truck, he'll be able to fill us in on everything that happened down at the start. Unfortunately, it sounds like his audio, we do not have a direct feed from the audio. This is a new project for us, and we're going to get these kinks worked out for the next race. I can promise you that. But Rodney will be able to tell us exactly how the starts went, as far as the people who got the whole show. I'm going to turn this back over to Stuart. Stuart, tell us some more about what these guys can expect.
You know, Florida is, like I said, a very physically demanding track. Looks like Henthorne's still in the lead. He's a rookie coming out of the XC2 class with Borch, the reigning champion, followed by McGill, Bithell, Fowler, and the rest of the guys. But like I said, it's a very physical, demanding track. You know, you really have to pace yourself in the beginning. There's some really gnarly palmetto routes as well as some other sections. One is the FMF PowerPoint section, what the GNCC has been doing. I don't know if there's a camera there, but that's a good place to watch. You know, you always want to see what's going on there. I think that towards the end of the race, we'll probably see Borch come through. Not completely sure about it, but normally that's the way it goes. Borch is a really strong finisher. And one to watch in the XC2 class is Landon Wolf, coming straight out of the A class last year, as well as Bryson Neal. You know, this is one of the difficult sections. Probably towards the end of the race, it'll get a little bit muddy. There's also another swamp that these guys have to go through. As you can see, that was Landon Wolf in the XC2 class that just about went down there. You know, whenever you come to these spots, you really have to keep your head up and know where to go. You've got to find the quickest line while you're coming up to it. These guys are constantly reading the trail and finding the different lines and the mud holes and the whoops and the roots. Everywhere you have to know exactly where to go on the track and be able to piece together a really good race.
Stuart, this is probably the only track we have that's a sand track?
Yes, this is the only one, and you know, it's probably the hardest one.
Well, obviously we've got some mud issues here, and unfortunately going to rain, I think, in 2 days, so we're really going to have some mud issues, but because it's so much sand, it's not going to affect the bike track too much.
Okay, so I think we should probably
Ready to go
switch
off?
it off.
Now that's some good old-fashioned bogs.
Turn the start camera off.
Can we get a read on that rider?
I do not know who that is. That may be one of the Vet A riders or either the Junior A class. I believe that may be the guy that got the whole shot in the Vet A. Are we still running?
Well, it looks like we lost remote camera temporarily. We're going to get back online here shortly.
Good job out there, Jessica. You happy with how you done?
Don't they hit a spot? Is this their first checkpoint? They hit a checkpoint.
Kirk Sessions fixing the overhead scanner, GNCC uses a transponder scoring system. Each rider is assigned a transponder when they register, and they usually mount the transponder behind their front number plate or on their backpack, and when they come underneath of the finish line, the scanner is recorded digitally with the electronic scoring system, and the results, you can see the results on your screen and at home, and that is exactly how the riders are coming across the finish line. And it's that system that's hanging over top of the riders when they come through the finish line that records their time.
So I thought I was on a different yard. Because I could have drove down and went right around. But I thought there was water. I mean, the steering wheel was like next time I race. I ain't hit the gate. I ain't get stuck.
Rodney is on his way from the start. We are moving his camera to the pit area, so you will be able to see live action down front row with the pro riders come down through for their first lap. Now they probably won't stop and pit the first time, Stuart. About how many laps do you think they'll get into before they'll actually stop?
It's a strategy thing. You never really know with these guys. It helps catch your breath. It helps you focus and know where you need to be on the track. And your guys in the pits are kind of running everything. They're running the show. They know where you are. They know what you need to do. Whenever you pull in there, they give you all that information. Maybe a drink bottle. It's helpful to have the pits. And I think today they'll definitely have some strategy on the guys that are out front hitting on different times.
Well, it's pretty much the closest thing we have to like a NASCAR in motorcycle racing as far as the NASCAR pit. They actually pit, they have developed these quick fill fueling systems, and we really don't see too many tire changes going on in our pits, but the refueling is absolutely necessary.
Yeah, you definitely have to refuel. I actually do it 3 times. The bikes race for 3 hours where the quads race for 2. These guys will do it once. Some of the 4 strokes can do the 3 hours and 1 pit stop. I always go 2. But it's quick. It's in and out. It's not quite as much as they do in the NASCAR pits, but it's definitely fun to see. It's interesting to see the guys work. You've got about 4 guys to keep everything going on the bike.
Okay, well, as you can hear, we got Rodney in the booth now. Let's go to Rodney.
I couldn't catch the numbers on the guys behind them, but they're real tight, and they're headed over towards Jason Hooper here, so he'll give you an update. He should be able to get some numbers for you, I hope.
10-4. Thanks a lot, JR. So as we roll, we're getting ready actually for the 8-mile marker mud hole is what they're telling us. Leaders should be coming through that area pretty soon. And as we get things up and rolling, I want to welcome out the folks along the World Wide Web, our first webcast, Globecast, if you will, of 2013. And thanks to AMSOIL, of course, First in Synthetics, for being on board with us here in the 2013 season, as we've got a lot of great sponsors, and we'll be talking about those great folks throughout the course of the day. But we got great racing that we have got set up right now for you as we take a look at some of the cameras out in the woods. I've yet to see any of these guys cross through, but Barry Hawk tells us they're about the mud hole, so once they get in that direction, we'll probably be able to get a visual for you folks that are at home watching, and for you folks that are listening here on site. We'll obviously be able to keep you abreast of what's going on with a lot of the action here today, and Barry's going to give us a great explanation, I'm sure, as we get a little closer to that. Again, welcome out to this first round of 2013, welcoming AMSOIL, First in Synthetics, our new title sponsor this year, and also saluting Can-Am, who is still a big part of our GNCC racing community with the official work vehicles of GNCC, with the Commanders, and of course the Outlanders that we use out here. A big tip of the hat to those guys, and also a big OEM supporter of our GNCC Racing Series with a lot of great contingency programs. Welcoming aboard this year our friends from Rocky Mountain ATVMC.com. Of course, those folks are a great place for you to stop and shop on the internet. And whenever you use the Rocky Mountain ATVMC.com fast track to registration, then you're going to understand that they are in this and they mean it. They're going to give you $20 that you can spend right there at Rocky Mountain ATVMC just for doing so. Parts Unlimited and Moose Racing also title sponsoring this River Ranch GNCC, and I want to say thanks to Parts Unlimited supporting the sport at every level and every way, and of course Moose Racing, the official off-road attire and so forth of GNCC. All righty, so as still no reports coming in off the racetrack, but we are starting to see some guys, and I think we might actually be, there it is, look at that.
Seconds on the 341.
5:21 and 4, you say?
5:21, 4.
10-4, so Borich, McGill, and Pithel, 1, 2, and 3, right?
They pulled maybe 10 seconds on Brian Wolf, and then he's got the number 10 behind him, and then the sneaky stake Jared McClure behind them.
10-4. So looks like things are already starting to set up, and it's the top three. There's, if you're watching at home, we see some good battling going on. That looks about 7th place right now. Hoyland and Phillips going at it out there. As well, we got Johnny Gallagher back in the pack, and look at that. Walker Fowler is bringing up the tail nearly as he is running at least.
There's only one XC1 rider I see behind him.
Wow, so Walker Fowler, we're just getting the reports, is got his issues, it looks like, to start the 2013 season off, and a tough break for that rider, but I can tell you, knowing Walker Fowler's style, as long as he calms down and everything gets to be leveled out for him, we're going to start seeing him pick up the pace, and good, consistent, strong rides are going to put him in a position, I'm sure, to be knocking on the door for a possible podium by the time this race is over. It seems like a big gap that we're seeing between these riders, but as big as it is, you got to remember it's 2 hours of rough racing, lots of lapped riders, lots of things can pop up throughout the course of the race. Barry Hawk talking in the riders meeting about an area that had been logged and a lot of trees have been cut down. They tried to get all the stumps out, but he said, hey, you know, if you venture off the trail too far, you could find one of those. He warned those guys and told them in those areas to make sure they stay as close to the trail as they can and on the trail, and we'll never know. So those kind of things could be game changers as the day wears on. We'll be getting reports of that, obviously.
I think he's in third now.
Wow. Now, come back on that. There's tell us a little bit about that. A log pile out near the 8-mile marker, from what I understand, Jeff?
Yeah, there's a log pile out here where they're doing some timber, and we decided to make it the FMF power point, and Borich, I don't know if he just got caught in the rut from the AM because we didn't let them go over it, but he went around and the other guys went over, so I think he's back in third, and they're headed towards the finish.
10-4. So those of you folks that are standing over near the finish line right now, you're going to get a pretty good bird's eye view on what's going on. And we've been hearing the number one leading this one. Well, it looks like he might have dropped up a couple of spots. And, you know, all honesty, knowing Chris Borich's style, I almost got a question as to whether or not he might have done that on purpose. Borich is not the type of individual that likes to lead the race. A lot of that might be just for the fact it's a comfort zone that he likes to have to keep those guys in check and to know what they're doing throughout the course of the race. And then on that last lap is usually when we see that infamous Chris Borch pass and go. And as they say, he tries to Chris Borch everyone out there. It's a term that's been coined here in GNCC. And he's going to try to Chris Borch these guys again later on. But right now he's sitting back watching it all unfold ahead of him right now. And watching Adam McGill and Chris Bithell, a couple of his close friends, take it to the limits out there right now. We're about 20 minutes into this race. Actually, 20 and a half minutes, so shouldn't be too long. Probably within the next 5 minutes or so, we should be seeing these riders check in at the finish. And then after that, a couple miles, we'll see them over at the pro pit. So we're going to have plenty of opportunity and plenty of time.
Everyone involved with TV, go to channel 2.
Is that me?
You can stay on channel 1 for radio.
So right now we continue to wait and wonder. Again, thanking some of the great folks that have stepped up with us once again this year. FMF, the Flying Machine Factory of Southern California. Jeff Russell talking about the FMF PowerPoint out there, that big log pile. Again, it looks like that Borch went wide and went long and lost a couple of spots out there. But again, I'm questioning whether or not that might have been done on purpose by Chris Borch. That'll be a good question to ask him at the end of the day. But regardless of what his mindset is out there, Chris Borch still well within striking distance, in a third-place position on lap number 1 is right where he wants to be, whether or not he did it on purpose. And the riders are heading now toward the finish line, so you guys out in that neck of the woods should be able to catch a view of what's taking place. And as you watch at home on the World Wide Web, you can see that Ricky Towery is casually hanging out. And we'll see him start to get excited here in just a second whenever these guys come in. Actually, I think I see some helmets moving this way right now through some of those chicanes back there. So here they come. It shan't be long that they'll actually be at the finish itself, and we'll see these guys coming nose to tail right now. So here we are waiting at the finish line and seeing how this one's going to unfold. On the first lap, McGill and Bithell and Borch, 1, 2, and 3. The big surprise and shocker today, I think, as much as anything, is the number 10, the rookie rider of Braden Henthorn, who nearly won the XC2 Pro-Am Championship last year, elected to go ahead and make the move up to the XC1 class after only 1 year in XC2. He's the youngest rider on the starting line out there today, and he seems to be as full of energy as anybody out there on the racetrack right now. And that is McGill, followed by Borch now, and Bithell running in the number 3 spot as we open up with the first lap complete. Adam McGill, Chris Borch, and Chris Bithell, 1, 2, and 3. 341. Brian Wolf on that GT Thunder-backed machine, now running in the number 4 spot. As we see the number 5 checking in with us, Sneaky Snake Jared McClure, another 9 seconds off the pace of Wolf right now, so the dust might be a little bit of a factor out there. In the 6th place position, it's the rookie, number 10, Braden Henthorn. He is honestly right where he had hoped to be. He said he wasn't exactly expecting to challenge for wins or podiums just yet, but he did want to run in a top 5, 6, or 7 position. And to open things up, he's in a 6th place spot right now. We'll let a few more of these guys come by, and then we've got a special in-studio guest here they're going to be talking with that's actually a 2-wheel guy, but we're going to welcome him out. He's a big 4-wheel racing fan. You can tell by the way he's watching the monitors right now. He is just exactly that, and that's Stu Baylor we're going to talk to here in a moment. But right now we're watching GNCC racing at its finest as the number 12 machine, or number 2 machine checked in there. That was Walker Fowler. Now he's up to 7th place. He was back in about 10th, if you remember. We saw him about 3 miles back. And Fowler has moved up about 3 spots. Eric Hoyland, the Hurricane, who nearly grabbed the whole shot and actually took the early lead in this one, is running back in the number 8 spot. Old Crazy K himself, the BNR ride number 7 out of Hopedale, Ohio. Kevin Yoho running in 9th. And Gabraham Phillips, the number 15 machine out of Thornton, West Virginia, rounds out the top 15. As we watch these guys continue to roll in, and we welcome one of our new XC1 pros from the 2-wheel side of things, and that's Stu Baylor. But the only unfortunate thing about Stu Baylor, if you've been following Quickfill or any of the things on online, you know that Stewart isn't going to be racing for a while. He had some problems that had arisen last season taken care of over the offseason, and he has used his head, and elected to wait till everything's healed up this time, right, Stu?
Yeah, you know, we had a difficult time trying to get everything to come together, but it wouldn't quite work. So we're on round 3 of surgery trying to get this thing to heal. So I guess we'll see how everything goes. You know, it's been difficult, but here at the race and just ready to watch these guys tear it up.
There you go, and you're in here. You seem to be pretty tuned in with what's going on with the ATV side of things. I know you got some buddies that race the ATVs, the four-wheelers out there.
Yeah, you know, I hang out with all of them. I just saw Gabe come through, the leader of the XC2 class right now, and it looks like he's got a pretty comfortable lead. So, yeah, you know, I know most of those guys. I hang out with Borch and all those guys, and you know, they're good guys. There's no competition. You know, we're just friends that have the same passion.
That's amazing. Just 2 wheels and 4 wheels is the only difference that separates you guys, right?
Yeah, pretty much. You know, we all train the same. We all have the same goal. You know, we just race on different days on different wheels.
There you go. And Stu Baylor, National Enduro Champion from last year, almost won the XC2 Pro Lights. When will we see you back on the racetrack?
You know, I hate to say it, but I think it's going to be about 3 months. Right now, I'm just hoping that I can make it back before the summer break, you know, and get a little bit of riding time in. You know, if I can, I'll have all summer to make a point whenever I do come back that I can run with these guys. You know, I think it's almost a good thing. You know, it's my first year in the pro class, and I'll be the youngest one out there. So it'll be a good thing that I'm not racing for championship. You know, I'll be out there for a learning year, and I'll be able to treat it like it is, you know, and treat it like a learning year for me. So, you know, it's difficult to say it, but, you know, I hope everything will go well.
I think it will, and I think that's the best choice you can make. I know that you had a point to prove or 2 there last year, and you got that proven, and guys are proving points out here on the racetrack right now. However, I do want to point out, Gabe went ahead and made the step up to the XC1 Pro class, believe it or not.
Phillips?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought he was in the XC2. I just saw his name come through. So who's leading the XC2?
Well, that's what we're getting ready to take a look at. That is Josh Merritt, number 19, believe it or not. Came up through the youth ranks on the 4-wheelers about the same time as you were coming up on the 2-wheels, I think.
Yeah, I know Josh pretty well. Him and you know, I expected him to do well. He's been down here training, as well as Landon Wolf, Bryson Neal. Both of those guys moved up from the A class last year. So you know, I think they're all in the top 5. So I guess we'll see how this pans out between all the rookies.
There you go. A lot of XC2 rookies out there. A lot of several XC1 Pro Class rookies. And actually, right now, as we take a look at the overall, Josh Merritt is currently setting in 7th place overall after time adjustments. That's a position ahead of Walker Fowler, who is now in the 8th place position. All righty, folks. We'll get you an update coming up here in just a moment. But we're coming through the pits right now. And as we take a look at this, we see that we got Borch still out. No, that's the number 521 of McGill out front with Borch in the number 2 spot. A lot of changes already taken place. There's the number 4, Chris Bithell. Actually, I guess McGill was leading at the finish line too, so there's no change there. I think that Chris Borch is right where he wants to be right now. There's the 341 machine of Brian Wolf checking in. He's still holding on to the number 4 spot. He's probably still about 10 seconds back of the pace of those guys, but closing up the gap right now, giving a thumbs up to the Cheerwine JB Race Team, the number 5 Sneaky Snake himself, Jared McClure, as he makes his way through the VP Racing Fuel Pro pits there. Here comes more. The number 10, there's Henthorn, one of our rookies, and he is the top scoring rookie right now in the XC1 class. Got the whole shot and was battling for the lead early on. That kid, I know, has got to be pumped up about that. He was super nervous coming into this race. Looking at his face yesterday, he looked like he had the weight of the world on his shoulders. Today he looked a little lighter, but at the same time, there was a lot of nerves that you could tell were really starting to play favors there. There comes the number 2, Walker Fowler, now checking in. That's a good place for Fowler. It's actually the same place he was, I believe, still 7th place position, but starting to close up that gap some. There is the number 12. It is the number 12, Jeff Pickens out of Shamokin, Pennsylvania on that Waynesburg Yamaha. I think he might have just stopped and got a drink over in the pro pits. There goes Johnny G. Johnny Gallagher checking through the pro pits as well. And Hoyland's back there. Hoyland right behind. Actually, it looked like maybe Yoho might have gotten around him. There's the 15 of Gabe Phillips checking in now. Phillips is through the pro pits. And we continue to watch. As we said, we'll give these guys just a few more moments. We'll wait for some updates coming in off the racetrack, and we'll also give you a rundown of all of our classes that are checking as they check in here for lap number 1, brought to you by Parts Unlimited, the folks supporting the sport at every level and every way. Here comes more traffic, and this is the front pack of the XC2 Pro-Am class, and that is Merritt out front, it looks like. Merritt's got a fairly comfortable lead as we take a look at the way things are breaking down there. He had about a 41-second lead over second place in this class. Wow, that was Tommy Kuntz Jr. out of Fayetteville, Pennsylvania. Then the third place position, Landon Wolf, one of those XC2 Pro-Am rookies, the 18 out of Manchester, Maryland. Fourth place in the XC2 Pro-Am class was LP, Lil Pat McGuire, as he is your defending XC2 Pro-Am class champion. And top amateur right now is College A rider, the number 400 of Marshall Goings. Goings is actually sitting in a 17th place overall position after lap number 1. He is on a rail right now, folks, and he's got it going on for sure. The other riders in the top 20 that are out of the pro classes, it is College A. Second place rider, number 701, Gregory Covert, back in the number 19 spot. He is only 2 seconds behind Goings, so we have got a major battle that is ensuing right now for not only top amateur overall, but also the College A 16 to 24-year-old class. So lots of competition already starting to heat up as this race only just getting underway. As you folks can tell out on the trail, and if you're watching at home, our Globecast here on racertv.com, you can tell that conditions down here in Florida are rather dry. Talking with Barry Hawk last week, he said that it was, that's very dusty right there. Barry Hawk said that, you know, there's some mud out there, and the mud, where the mud is, there's more mud than there was in years past. But he said it's kind of strange because they actually had less rain this year, and they still got more mud out in some of those holes. But we can tell by going down through some of these sections of the racetrack that it is very dry. If you notice, the pits aren't very dusty. The reason being, we actually have the opportunity to water that, manicure it a little bit to try to keep the dust down in the pits, and it is working very well through that section. But these guys have got a lot of things to be faced with out there on the track. And Stu Baylor, I know you coming from a racing standpoint, whenever you've got this kind of conditions, I mean, it changes the face of the race right then and there, because you either got to ride right on the rear wheel of the guy to keep the dust from building up too quick, or you got to lay way back.
Yeah, you know, I'm surprised that that Borch is where he is. You know, there he is again, right behind McGill. You know, not only is it hard to breathe and hard to see, you're kind of putting yourself at danger there, but also as far as looking at the bike, you know, you're killing your filter. You know, everything's covered in dust. It's your quick fill gets filled with dust. You know, then you've got dust in your tank. So you know, it's surprising to see where he is. Maybe he really can't get around, but you know, the dust really does change things. But that's part of GNCC. You know, you get a little bit of everything. It's not a motocross. We're not going to water the track. You know, it's going to be a good race. It looks like there's a 341 and the number 5 of McClure, who's still coming up, not too far off those guys, and you know, he's a strong finisher, so maybe he'll be at the tail end of the lead pack shortly.
For sure, and what we're seeing develop there was a 9-second gap between Brian Wolf, the 341, and Jared McClure. I believe McClure going for the pass right now, the number 5 on the 341 as we witness that. Here comes Henthorn through that little mud section out about mile marker number 3 now. There is the number 2 of Walker Fowler. Fowler is now reeled in Braden Henthorn, so he is within only a couple of seconds now of the number 10 machine. So last year's rookie and this year's rookie sensations are about to go head-to-head right out here on the racetrack, and I'm sure that we could possibly see a different face to this race or that battle between those two next time we see them come through one of these sections out here. But Braden Henthorn running 6th, 7th in the XC1 Pro class was Walker Fowler, and Fowler, like we said, is closing up the gap right now as we continue to watch this same section of racetrack. Here comes Jeffrey Pickens through now in the 7th place position aboard the number 12. And watching this number 8 machine now. Johnny Gallagher, I think, is starting to feel some pressure from the guy that he battled with all year last year, old Crazy K, Kevin Yoho. all over the rear wheels of Johnny Gallagher out near the 3 mile marker right now. Coming up hard and fast on those guys right now, the number 15 machine. Gabe Phillips is making a pretty good rookie debut here today as well in the XC1 Pro class. So we have got these guys. So we'll watch now for the XC2 Pro Am class to come through. We got Josh Merritt, I believe, that is your leader in that class. He's the number 19. Tom Kuntz Jr., the number 39, was running second. Landon Wolf running third, and Pat McGuire, LP, was running in the number 4 spot. Remember, he is your defending GNCC champion. Mike Lancaster in 6th, Brody Livingood in 7th. Fred Marley was 8th, Cody Ellison in 9th, Matt Pierce in the number 10 spot. Here we come with our leader in the XC2 Pro-Am class. I believe that is still Josh Merritt there, doing a quick checkup from the neck up there to see where the competition is. And remember, I believe he had like a 41-second lead over second place, the number 39. So what he's looking back at, not real sure. Maybe he's just doing a little sightseeing because he has no pressure being applied to him whatsoever right now. So we'll wait just another few seconds and maybe check back in with those guys here in moments. But let's start checking in with some of these other classes while we have got the opportunity here. College A class, we take a look at, we told you, the number 400, Marshall Goings, who is top overall amateur. Here comes more of our XC2 riders through that 3 mile mud marker. We got a nose-to-tail battle going on, it looks like right now, with Tommy Kuntz, Landon Wolf, Pat McGuire, and I believe now Chad Jones might be trying to sneak up into that battle aboard the number 28. We'll be keeping an eye out there. Already some XC1 guys seeing some problems and dropping back on pace a little bit, but we got Goings, Covert in that College A class. Again, Goings out of Petersburg, Indiana. Ithaca, New York is home to Gregory Covert, the number 701 Yamaha ride. The 32 of Jay Shadron out of Mount Pleasant, Pennsylvania, runs in the number 3 spot. Cole Richardson, the number 733 out of Edinburgh, Pennsylvania. He'll be your 4th place ride. Those guys, if you're watching at home right now, they should be coming through here pretty soon in this little 3 mile mud hole that we see on the screen right now. So Goings, Covert, Shadron, Richardson, C.J. Frazier out of Avon Park, Florida. The number 225 rounds out the top 5. The 41, Clint Grant from Harrisville, Pennsylvania, is 6th. 7th, the 45 of Tyler Wares from Marietta, Ohio. 8th spot, Dylan Kramer, the 321 from Shaquille Haven, Pennsylvania. Then we've got Blake Tomes, the 636 out of Waterford, Ohio, in 9th. Garrett Harvey, the 393, is your 10th place position ride in the College A class. We'll come back and get the B classes with that in a few moments. Right now it's Junior A class, and AMA Pro ATV Racer, not Pro ATV Racer, but he is a top AMA ATV motocross racer, I guess is the best way to put it. You see William P. Lloyd, the 397. He's a JB Cheerwine-backed Can-Am rider. That is Duck Lloyd. That's what he goes by. And Duck is a rather avid motocrosser. Talking with him a few weeks ago, he told me, hey, we're going to be racing with JB and doing some GNCC this year. And I said, that's great, man. You're going to love it. And he said, well, I actually used to race the woods before I started racing motocross. He goes, so I might feel pretty good. He said, I'm going to start out in like an A class, and if things go well there, you might see me actually move up into a Pro-Am class about midway through the season after he gets his feet wet. Right now it looks like he is knee-deep in it. He's got a 43-second lead over Michael Marley, who is a avid GNCC racer out of Osgood, Indiana. He's running in 2nd right now. Josh Huxhold, the 443 out of Muncie, Indiana, only 2 seconds behind Marley right now, is 3rd. Nathan Hornacek, the 88 from Norton, Ohio, is 4th. Brian Toney, 629 from Canton, Georgia, running in the number 5 spot. 6th place is the 788 Doug Harden from Canal, Winchester, Ohio. 7th spot, the 777 Chuck Norris. He's out of Aiken, South Carolina. 8th spot, the 102 Justin Short from Gamil, Kentucky. Then we got 9th spot, the 519 Matthew King out of Southwick, Massachusetts. And then, of course, 10th spot, 555 Jimmy Rotundo. He's out of St. Sophie, Quebec, Canada, riding on board that Suzuki in the Junior A 22-plus class. The Vet A 28-plus class, 351 Richie Brown from Dahlonega, Georgia, is running in the number 1 spot, a 3.5-second lead over the 29 of Todd Demery. Demery actually got the whole shot in that class out of Versailles, Indiana, on that Sick Racing Honda. And he is currently keeping Richie Brown in check, it looks like. Chris Barbie, the number 46 from Clemens, North Carolina, another top GNCC racer, is running in the number 3 spot. Corey Blankiewicz from Elwood City, PA, 4th spot aboard the 542. It's Travis Hill, number 315 from West Sunbury, Pennsylvania, rounding out the top 5. Luke Reeves, one of your Derisi Racing riders out of Statesville, North Carolina, on the Honda number 334, runs 6th. The 356 of Sean Webb out of Fort Pierce, Florida, on his Honda, rounds out 7th place in the Vet A class. Senior AB class, Brian Schmidt got the whole shot in 38 out of Golden, New York, a 42-second lead over Leroy Shook, the 58 out of Old Fields, West Virginia, as we wrapped up that first lap, and then another 3 minutes back to the number 3 position, 355, Martin Whitty from Brossard, Canada, sorry about that. 47, John Glotta Sr. out of Saddle River, New Jersey. That's Big John. We got our little John Glotta as well. He races, I believe, in the schoolboy class, if I'm not mistaken. But those guys been doing a lot of training this year, a lot of cross training. Said they didn't get a ride very much, but they did a lot of cross training and things, and they seem to be ready and prepared for 2012. Taking a look now at the B classes, College B 16 to 21-year-old class. We see Derek Pitts of the 348 out of Humble, Pennsylvania, running in the number 1 spot. 2nd spot, the 210, Brigham Patterson from Oldenburg, New York. Cameron Bruce, the 427 from Darlington, Pennsylvania, runs in 3rd. 4th place, the 783, Kenny Schick out of Newcastle, Pennsylvania. In the number 5 spot, we got Michael Cunningham from Mannington, West Virginia. 6th place, Noah Landis from Lancaster, Ohio. 7th spot, Justin Paul from Oldenburg, Indiana. 8th place then is Cody Taylor out of Sonoya, Georgia. Then we've got Dwight Pollard, 9th spot aboard the 607 out of Clayton, Georgia. And Thomas Huppert, the 611 out of Sheridan, Indiana, rounds out the top 10 College B class riders. Junior B 22 plus, it's Kevin Patterson, the 444 from Barberville, Kentucky. KTM rider with a 3-second lead over William T. White, the 330 from Comundi, Illinois. Another minute and 15 seconds back to the number 3 ride of Cody Fox, the 814 from Plainfield, Indiana, with West Manfield, Ohio. Walter Shoemaker, the 728. Another minute 53 back in 4th. Ryan Kaufman, the 810 out of Bell Vernon, Pennsylvania. Another 3 minutes and 7 seconds back in 5th. Now, got to wonder, why is there such big gaps from 3rd, 4th, and 5th? You got to figure that maybe those guys got caught up in a little bit of possibly a bottleneck or something that took them off the pace and kept them separated from their competitors. That B30 plus class, the 61, Jeffrey Flynn from Old Fields, West Virginia. An 8.2 second lead over Aaron Delancey, the number 53 from St. Louisville, Ohio. Stafford, Virginia is home to Gabe Balthazar, the 198, about a minute and 8 seconds behind Delancey, back in the number 3 spot now. Matt Darnley, the 229 from East Concord, New York, runs in 4th. And the 72, Daniel Webb from Middletown, Maryland, rounds out the top 5. And that is a look at our classes top to bottom there for you. As we take a look at the overalls, again, reminding folks we're due in about 3 minutes, but remember that was after the first lap. The first lap was a little shorter by a couple of miles, so we'll probably see a 5 to 6 minute difference in lap time. So I'm going to say within the next 8 minutes, we'll probably start to see our XC1 GNCC pros begin to check in here at the finish line.
Okay,
I want to say thanks to Parts Unlimited, supporting the sport at every level and every way. Of course, Parts Unlimited.
Checkity check.
Bringing you that top 10 rundown that we had there just a moment ago. Also, I'll let you folks know that we're going to take a quick commercial break.
Hi, this is Tanner Harding, and today we're going to take a walk around Caleb's 2013 KTM 350 XCF. One of the coolest things about Caleb Russell's bike is it's pretty much all stock. You can go right into your KTM dealer and you can get an XC model, and it's great for trails, it's great for racing, it's a great all-around bike. So that's the 2013 KTM 350 XCF. I'm Tanner Harding, thanks for checking it out.
Sometimes you come across something so different you just have to stop and check it out. The Rocky Mountain ATV MC website has everything you need, from our huge selection of apparel and gear to dirt bike accessories and OEM parts. Our extensive inventory means most orders arrive in 3 days or less. Get low prices, quick shipping, and incredible customer service. RockyMountainATVMC.com. Get ready.
300 searing degrees. 750 pounds of metal twisting torque. 900 hard charging horses. You will never punish your motor oil like this. But it's good to know you could. AMSOIL. Push it to the limit.
What do you call a machine that combines precision-engineered handling, industry-leading power, and a rider-focused design? We call it a Can-Am. From the essentials to fully loaded, you'll find that same combination in every ATV and side-by-side we build. And right now, get your own for as low as $149 a month. Can-Am, the ride says it all.
Are you ready to race? Appalachian Off-Road Motorcycles and Cross Lanes has everything you need to start racing. Huge inventory of ready-to-race KTM motocross and cross-country bikes in stock. Appalachian Off-Road Motorcycles is also a KTM Orange Brigade ATV dealer. We are one of the top KTM parts, accessories, and apparel dealers in the world. Stop in our showroom or check out our industry-leading website featuring KTM parts, accessories, apparel, videos, product previews, and more. Appalachian Off-Road Motorcycles. Rev it.
Here at the River Ranch in beautiful sunshiny Florida as we continue along here with GNCC at its best. Again, thanks to our friends at AMSOIL, First in Synthetics, and you folks that are here with us at the racetrack today. Be sure and stop by for special great pricing and your opportunities to, well, become a possible AMSOIL distributor yourself. AMSOIL, the first in synthetics. Cooler temperatures, smoother running, no doubt about it. There is great things going on, and as we said about 3 minutes ago, we expect about 5 minutes or about 8 minutes before those riders check in. I'm going to say within 5 minutes or so we should be seeing lap number 2 complete here at River Ranch. And as we watch the monitor, we can see that Walker Fowler has already gotten around the 341 of Brian Wolf. Now get this, remember, Walker Fowler was behind Jeff Pickens at the end of lap number 1. He got around Pickens, he got around Braden Hinthorn, got around McClure, and now it looks like he was chasing down the 341 of Brian Wolf as they came through. There is McClure did pull out ahead of him. Okay, so, but Walker is closing the gap. That's one thing that we're going to keep a very close eye on as they get closer and closer to the finish line right now. But man, I tell you, some changes, they are taking place out there. Hinthorn, the nerves might be starting to get to him a little bit. We can see that his pace is not nearly as intense as it was a lap ago. And I'm sure that a lot of the nerves have worked out, and he's gone into reserve mode pretty much at this point, just trying to save energy and learn what he can. He already realizes what the pace is out there. Now it's time to go home and do his homework and make it happen. Make it happen. Well, as we watch and listen to things that are taking place here at the River Ranch GNCC, a big thanks to our friends at Moose Racing, and one of the biggest Moose Racing supporters, I think, of all time is 8-time National Enduro champ and off-road racing living legend, Mr. Dick Burleson. Dick, glad to have you as a part of our GNCC racing family once again this year. And you know, what I always enjoy about, of course, seeing you is always the good stories that you have about what took place in the winter. How much snow did you have to push out to get down here this year?
Well, you know, I rode, I rode my motorcycle in the winter. You know, I'm not a snowmobile guy, so last time I rode, we kind of scraped it down, and it was only a foot to 2 feet deep. So, you know, some studs in the tires, and have at it. It was a good time.
Well, I tell you what, you're back down here in the great sunshine state of Florida. You're ready for GNCC and Bike Week all together, man. I know this week right here is where you really start to shine. This is your probably favorite week of the year.
Well, it's really fun for us to come out of the wintertime and come down here, like a lot of racers that want to come down and, you know, get back on their bike and do some riding, or get back on the quad and do some riding. So it's really nice to come on down here. And you know, I think that it's been since about November since my bike saw dirt.
Wow, that's a long time, Dick. But I tell you what, one thing that we do know, that you're down here representing a great company. Moose Racing has basically become, when you think off-road, I know when I think off-road, I see that big moose with his arms crossed there, and I think Moose Racing.
Well, you know, we're kind of the do-it-all power sports company for Parts Unlimited. Moose is owned exclusively by Parts Unlimited. I started with it in '93, actually, to help develop the product line. We had more or less nothing, and I've been with it ever since. And we've expanded into, you know, everything from whether it's motorcycle hard parts, outerwear, dual sport outerwear, adventure gear now, because guys are getting in the 1200s and going like, oh, I think I'll go to Hawaii, or I mean Alaska or something, you know. And then ATV, whether it's sport ATV, we got all kinds of hard parts for that, and certainly utility ATV too. We have everything for those things. From if you want a sprayer for the back, or a rack to go hunting, or a snowplow for the front, we got it. And so over those almost 20 years now, I think it's like 19 years, 94 was our first product release. We've expanded. We've got 2 catalogs that are about a half-inch thick now. And certainly, you know, we do outerwear, but hard parts is our real game. When I say hard parts, I mean chains, sprockets, brakes, gaskets, pistons, whatever. We've got more or less everything, and we try and make it really convenient and affordable to keep your bike going.
And I think you guys do. Now, what you want to do is go to a Parts Unlimited dealer. That's where you're going to get your Moose Racing supplies. If you don't see Moose, ask for it by name. And I tell you, if you're here at the racetrack, or you get by the Moose Racing Transporter anytime, those catalogs you're talking about, they got a Moose Racing catalog, they got a Moose Utility Division catalog. Pick those up. Leave those laying around, because you're going to find something in there you're going to want.
Absolutely. You know, we bring our semi down here. We set up. We don't have anything to sell. That's all through the GNCC store. But we've got display, we've got catalogs, we can talk about product and look through the catalogs for a guy who wants to know if we got something for their bike. I'm pretty sure we do. We can help them with that. And then tomorrow night, we're doing we're sponsoring a supper under the big tent.
From what I understand, moose burgers for everybody, right?
Yeah, they're low-fat moose burgers, yeah.
That's what we're going to call them anyway. The Chuck Wagon Grill over here, they do a great, what they call, I guess, Chuck Wagon style dinner. They got beans, burgers, dogs, and all that good stuff, and we really appreciate what Moose Racing and Parts Unlimited does for our sport.
Well, we're you know, Parts Unlimited, their whole deal is putting it back into the sport, and we support the sport as kind of one of their logos. So we're part of that. We support a whole bunch of different series. We take the semi around, we set up, and try and put back into the series, get back to the racers, and certainly we do everything we can to have the right products at the really good price. And because we're owned by Parts Unlimited, essentially every motorcycle power sport dealer is a Moose dealer. So yeah, it's really good that way.
All righty, sounds good. Dick, once again, want to thank you for stopping in, and want to thank Moose Racing for being such a big part of our GNCC Racing Nation. All righty, as we continue to roll through lap number 2 now, actually lap number 3, we got Borch has taken over the lead from Adam McGill. They came through basically nose to tail, and right behind them still only about 5 seconds off the pace, Chris Bithell in the number 3 spot. Jared McClure checks in 4th, so Fowler is right there behind, well, not so much right there behind him. He's about 22 seconds off the pace, but he had just gotten around Brian Wolf. We told you about that. Wolf still hasn't checked in, so got to wonder if maybe Wolf might have had some sort of mechanical issue or whether he just kind of slowed the pace down. There he is. He just checked in about 1 minute and 4 seconds behind Walker Fowler. He lost 1 minute and 4 seconds in like 3 or 4 miles. So it looks like Wolf has slowed the pace down, and Brian, obviously, if you talk to him very much, didn't get a chance to do any training this winter, put the program together by himself, and I don't think he's ridden a bike since last year, up until maybe a week or so ago. So Brian Wolf running in 6th right now. Braden Henthorn, we're looking for that ride to check in, and does in the number 7 spot aboard the number 10 out of Marietta, Ohio. Old Chip himself, Wood Chip Henthorn. He's a woodhead, that's for sure, and he is hard-headed as well, and he's going to try to ride solidly as he possibly can in this 7th place position. Looking at things here, he turned a 29.48, was 2 seconds slower than Brian Wolf on that lap, was 19 seconds behind. If Wolf continues to slow his pace down, as it looks like he may have done, Henthorn may be ready to start inching his way up towards Wolf for that 6th place position there in the XC1 Pro class. Then, of course, back behind them is A-spot ride, the number 12, Jeff Pickens. Kevin Yoho checking in on the number 7 in 9th. And Johnny Gallagher, XC1, 10th place ride right now, is on the number 8. And 3 seconds behind him is Gabe Phillips. So it looks like Phillips and Gallagher are about ready to start going at it head-to-head and nose-to-tail now. As we watch the finish line, we should be seeing our leaders in the XC2 Pro-Am class checking through in this area here pretty soon, so stand by for that. And once we get through second laps for everybody, we'll try to give you another rundown of everything that is taking place. My question is right now, where is the Maxxis Tough Mile? There's a mile track out there that they call the Maxxis Tough Mile. Wow, at the 8-mile marker, Landon Wolf in 2nd place in the XC2. He's gaining on Josh Merritt right now, so Wolf has gotten around Tom Kuntz. There was about 43 seconds that separated those two at the end of that first lap, and now the reports we're getting off the racetrack is that the Wolf is closing in on Josh Merritt. He's about 35 seconds now, so he's already gained 10 seconds on him, and we should be seeing them show up at the finish line here pretty soon. Right now, as we take a look at our River Ranch XC1 rundown after 2 laps, again, it's Chris Borch, Adam McGill, Chris Bithell, Jared McClure in 4th, and Walker Fowler has inched his way into 5th place, still about 1 minute behind your leader. Still waiting and watching for the XC2 Pro-Am class rides to check in. We wait for that. We check out the pro pits. Chris Borich is checking in now. He's got the quick fill. He's going for a goggle change right now, getting some gas, and it looks like he's going to get passed right now as McGill checks in. There is Bithell checking in. Everyone is pitting, so there goes Borich now. Borich is out of the pits unscathed and no time lost. There goes McGill out now, and Bithell, they're pouring water down his back. He's saying, more water, more water, more water. And now they dumped as much as they could down him, and he's off and rolling. Our top 3 are now setting sail through the rest of this 3rd lap of racing that they are now into. Josh Merritt checks in. 15 seconds now, Stu Baylor, is the gap. We're talking a whole 30 seconds has been shaved off the lead that Josh Merritt was enjoying, and Landon Wolf out of Manchester, Maryland is on a mission right now. Tommy Kuntz has dropped back to the number 3 spot aboard the 39 out of Fayetteville, Pennsylvania. Good strong ride by this rider today. LP, little Pat McGuire, still about 27 seconds, almost 28 seconds off the pace of the top 3 rides right now. Remember, last year, Pat McGuire actually won this one convincingly in the XC2 Pro-Am class, and this year having his struggles, which he may probably be a little more satisfied with. Walker Fowler in the pits now if you're over near the pro pit area. Fresh set of goggles for that Am-Pro Yamaha rider, and also a quick fill of the gas tank. You can see him making sure his gas lid's on there. He's off and rolling now. Walker Fowler, a whole new look to his team this year as he moves from Balance Racing to Am-Pro Yamaha, back under the guidance of a mentor that he worked with whenever he was racing 2 wheels, and that's Randy Hawkins from the Am-Pro Yamaha motorcycle side of things. They picked up Walker this year, and they're riding with the ATVs, and I'll tell you, Walker Fowler got a lot of great things going for him. He picked up a new mechanic this year. And, of course, that was former GNCC racer Mark Notman. Mark was actually racing pro class racing as recently as last season, but elected to go full-time tuner for Walker Fowler. And Walker couldn't have picked, I don't think, anybody much better, because you got to look at the fact he knows what's going on. He's been out there. He knows what these machines need, and he's also was a Yamaha rider. So Mark Notman is a good fit, I think, for the Walker Fowler Pro Yamaha team. Right now we continue to check out the results. Again, Merritt and Wolf within 15 seconds of one another. Tom Kuntz in third, McGuire in fourth. Chad Jones checks in the number 5 spot. Mike Lancaster, the 807 in sixth. In seventh is the 25, Fred Marley. The 42, Brody Livingood, is your 8th place ride right now. As we check into the pro pits, we've got is that the battle for first place tightening up? No, I don't think it is. I think. That's Henthorne in, and I believe the 12 of Pickens looks like they've got themselves a, no, that's 341 of Wolf. Wolf is in. I was going by pit location, but that was Wolf. He's down there at the very, close to the very end this year, so Wolf in and gassed, Henthorne in and out just before him, so those guys still got a pretty good battle going on. We see Eric the Hurricane Hoyland heading into the DeRisi Racing Twin Air pits over there right now. He's going to get a fuel. No, that's actually the number 12. I'm sorry. The 12 machine again is that of Jeffrey Pickens. That's Pickens in the 8th place position, in and out that quick. Here comes. Is that Yoho, I believe? Kevin Yoho, BNR rider, getting a fresh set of goggles, and also topping off the gas tank there. So Yoho in and out. Rider we'll be looking for next in that XC1 Pro class is that of Johnny G. Gallagher, and that's Johnny G right there. Heading down through the pits. Let's see if Gallagher is going to stop this time. Yes, he will. He stops. And Gabe Phillips, I believe, right behind him on the number 15 machine, will also elect to make a quick pit stop. Gallagher, gas, goggles, and gone. And look at this, Phillips a little quicker on the pit stop. He's right behind the number 8 of Johnny Gallagher as they exit the pits and disappear out of sight. That's the VP Racing Fuels pit row there. Those guys going to be stopping for the VP fuel stops and making power, I'm sure, as they head back out on the trail. All right, so again, Merritt, Wolf, within 15 seconds. We're seeing a race develop there. We've got Kuntz, McGuire, Jones, Lancaster, Marley, Hamilton. Matt Hanna now shows his face into the number 9 spot. Brody Livingood drops now to the number 10 position.
Still Borich, McGill, and Bissell, wheel to wheel.
10-4. That's at mud hole. Are you at that mud hole right now, Jeff?
Just went under the bridge.
Okay, 10-4. We kept picking them up right after that. So that's the 4-mile marker you're telling me?
Yeah, it's just past the 4 coming under the bridge, and then they hit the one shot out there that they're doing the remote deal. It's about 4-2, I guess.
Okay, 10-4. Yeah, that's what we're watching on the monitors right now. So still nose to tail. Thanks for the update. Hey, keep an eye on that XC2 class if you can, JR, because we got Josh Merritt and Landon Wolf. There was like 45 seconds that separated them at the end of the first lap. At the end of the second lap, there's only 15 seconds separating them. Wolf's on the move right now, it looks like. 19 and 18. Merritt is 19, Wolf is 18. All right, so we're going to try to pick up on what's going on out there from our track crew. Right now we watch the 2 and the 5. It looks like that the number 2 of Walker Fowler has gotten around Sneaky Snake now and taken over. I believe that would be the number 5 position, if I'm not mistaken, in the XC1 class. No, that's the number 4 spot. Fowler was running in 5th. McClure was 4th, so now Fowler is within striking distance, my friends, of a podium. But we got to look at the big picture here. He's still about 40 seconds behind the battle for the number 1 spot between Borch, McGill, and Bithell right now. So still got about 40 seconds or so that he's going to have to try to make up. Taking a look at lap times right now, in the traffic, Walker Fowler turned a 27:46, trying to work his way through some of those riders and all. As we take a look at everyone else's lap time, at least the top three, Borch with a 27:39. All right, we got Landon Wolf in the pits right now. And they're doing something to his bike. They're trying to straighten out his handlebars. He's over in the Chris Borge pits right now, and that rider must have clipped a tree. We see Smoking Joe Borge out there, man. He is working on the front. They're dumping that water down him, and all the time that Landon Wolf had gained on Josh Merritt appears to be subsiding and slipping away, and they continue to work on it. Looks like the steering is what they're having issues with right now. Maybe a handlebar problem. Again, could have been a tree clip. The pace he was rolling out there was pretty intense. Maybe we can get somebody over there to get us an update here pretty soon. Hey, well, welcome to the broadcast trailer here today. Randy Hawkins, he is a, AMA Hall of Famer, former GNCC great, former National Enduro, former off-road racing great, or no, not former, just off-road racing great, Randy Hawkins, who has expanded his horizons a little bit in taking a new team member this year. Somebody that you worked with many years ago as a kid. Walker Fowler's back on the teams, but he's added a couple wheels to the machine, man.
Yeah, you know, the program came about with Yamaha, and you know, we've been successful on the bike side. And they approached me and said it would be an opportunity, and decided to take it. And especially with the fact that Walker, a few years back, came to our program on the bike, and he was kind of being the Barry Hawk at that time. You know, he was doing a quad and a bike deal too, and so we have a really good relationship with Walker, and it all just kind of fell together and put together. And I know Danny and those guys, and Mark and Beck and that group there is working super hard for Walker. You know, you can see him charging through the pack. He's really excited this year. We're excited about it. And it's kind of like the same thing with the bikes. You know, these guys know how to win. My job is just to make sure these guys have the right tools.
Well, I tell you, it looks like they got the right tools. The question is, do they have the right tools? South Carolina, do some sand practices and stuff like that, so you're no stranger to the sands and so forth. But what about this track today? I know it looks pretty dry out there. These conditions are not necessarily conducive to racing, because it makes it tough for the riders to breathe, it makes it tough to see, makes it tough on the bikes even.
Yeah, you're right. This is really hard conditions with the sand here. It gets really fine, so it filters and things like that idea. But I talked to Walker, and it just like talking with Paul and Jordan, these guys, you know, this is one race in the sand. After this, you know, we race most of the rest of the year in the dirt. So we don't put extremely a lot of emphasis on this race. Yeah, you know, it's a big race to win. We want to win any race we go to. And Walker's been out here testing. The Fox suspension is working good on his bike, or his quads. It's just that, you know, our goal is to get here, get through here, have some good results, win the race if possible. But, you know, really look at the long picture is when you leave here, because we're in dirt the rest of the year.
There you go. That's a good way to put it. And another thing that I got to ask you, have you been able to keep up with the progression that's going on out there? Walker had some issues early on. Do you know what happened? He's working his way up. He's back up to about fourth right now, about a minute behind the leaders, I think.
Yeah, you know, he got a good start and just got it kind of tangled up, and, you know, that's racing. He's pushing hard, and you know, you got I think the best quad guys in the world in front of him up there. So I mean, here again, if we can get out of here, and like I explained to Walker, here again, my job to help him this year to calm him down is, you know what, a champion doesn't come from your best race, a champion comes from your worst race.
That's a very good point, and you probably know that as well as anybody, because on your worst day, you've got to dig deeper and work harder just to achieve a little bit.
That's exactly right. So, I mean, he's there. He's already in fourth. We're pushing up there. Still a lot of racing left, and as I heard you say, there's places out here in this track it can bite you. You know what? And you're going to see. And the other thing is, you leave here, you got within about 4 to 5 days to be ready for the next event. So, you know, here again, we don't do anything stupid. Don't jeopardize the next race. And we're excited about this year. Yamaha's excited, you know, from the AmPro side, both programs, and here with you guys, it's a win situation for us.
There you go. Randy, thanks for stopping by and talking with us. Good luck with that program this year. Hall of Famer Randy Hawkins in the broadcast booth with us here at the River Ranch GNCC as we continue to roll on. I want to say thanks to our friends at Wiseco Performance Products, celebrating over 70 years in business, and they've been with you every step of the way. Wiseco has earned their reputation for manufacturing the most durable and long-lasting pistons in the industry. Give yourself and your bike the trusted Wiseco advantage with pistons that last longer, thanks to state-of-the-art forging technology and aerospace quality. Wiseco, one name, one solution. Well, we got 2 laps of racing down now, and as we take a look at things, we're going to give you a look at the overall real quick. And I would have to say that this would probably be the Mid-State Chevrolet Midway Report. If I'm not mistaken, we're an hour and 7 minutes in. We've got 2 laps down, and I would assume we are now only 2 laps away from a checker flag. But thanks again to our friends at Mid-State Chevrolet, stacking them deep and selling them cheap just south of Morgantown, West Virginia, there off of I-79. I want to say thanks to those folks. You can see a great-looking Mid-State Chevy that Jen Kenyon will be driving all summer long. Parked right out there by the Moose Racing Rig in high profile with a nice, cool wrap on it. Now, you can get one like that, but to say the least, your truck under that wrap is what you're looking at, and it's from Mid-State Chevrolet. This Midway Report brought to you by the folks at Mid-State Chevy. Taking a look at the overall right now, Chris Borch, Adam McGill, Chris Bithell, 1, 2, and 3. McClure has dropped to the number 5 spot as Walker Fowler has taken over 4th. And we're looking at within 45 seconds now, Walker Fowler is from the front of the pack. Can he reel him in? Time will tell. Back at the number 6 spot, it's the 341 of Brian Wolf, 7th spot overall. And in the class, Braden Hinthorn, remember he's the rookie and started out very strong with a whole shot today. Jeffrey Pickens, the number 12, running in 8th. Oh, Crazy K, Kevin Yoho, the number 7 is 9th, and Johnny Gallagher back in the number 10 spot. Gabe Phillips runs 11th overall right now. Eric Hoyland, the Hurricane, is 12th overall, aboard the number 13 out of Blacksburg, Virginia. Leader of the XC2 Pro-Am class, Eric Hoyland, the number 19 is running in 13th. In 14th, the 18 Landon Wolf from Manchester, Maryland. 15th, the 39 Tom Kuntz from Fayetteville, Pennsylvania. 16th, 591, your defending XC2 Pro-Am champ out of Valencia, PA. Pat McGuire on that Tire Balls Custom Axis shock back machine. Chad Jones, the 220, is 17th out of Oldenburg, Indiana. 18th place, the 807 Michael Lancaster out of Gassaway, West Virginia. Now, that puts him, I believe, 6th place in the XC2 Pro-Am class, 18th overall. Craig Bowman, the 549, is 19th overall, 13th in the XC1 Pro class. And Marshall Goings, still in the top 20 from the College Age 16 to 21-year-old class. Goings is 20th place overall right now after 2 laps of racing complete. And we'll be keeping a close eye on that to see whether or not he can keep that pace and stay in the top 20, but most importantly, stay ahead of all the other A-class riders to try to ensure that top overall amateur award today. Let's go on and check some of these other classes now. We got Goings leading the College A class with Jay Shadron now about 1 minute and 44 seconds back. 7:33, Cole Richardson is running in the number 3 spots. The 41, Clint Graff in this College A class is 4th. 5th spot, C.J. Frazier, the 225 machine. 6th place, Tyler Ware is the number 45. 7th place, Blake Torrens, the 636. 8th spot is Garrett Harvey, 393. 9th spot, the 701, Gregory Covert. And rounding out the top 10, Dylan Kramer, College A 16 to 21-year-old class. Junior A class, Duck Lloyd continues to lead after 2. And look at this, folks. I think Duck Lloyd is about as serious as anybody can be. The kid's got a 2-minute, 11-second lead. He's a ATV motocrosser, and he is burning it up out there today for the JB Cheerwine guys. Michael Marley, 489 out of Osgood, Indiana, is that rider, 2 minutes, 11 seconds behind him. In 2nd, Josh Huxhold in 3rd. 4th place, Nathan Hornacek. In 5th spot, Doug Harden, the 788. 6th place, 629, Brian Toney. 7th, the 777 of Chuck Norris. It's the Texas Ranger in the house with us. We got Matthew King in 8th, Justin Short in 9th, and Jimmy Rotundo. I just like saying Jimmy's name, Rotundo. That's a fun name to say. He rounds out the top 10 in the Junior A class. Vet A class, Chris Barbie has moved into the number 1 spot at that one. Actually was holding on to that ahead of Todd Demery. Now remember, Demery got the whole shot. Looked like he had about a 5 bike length lead heading into the first turn, and now we see him 1 minute and 42 seconds back of Barbie right now. Luke Reeves runs back in 3rd aboard the 334. It's Travis Hill, the 315 in 4th out of West Sunbury, Pennsylvania. 351, Richie Brown is 5th. Corey Blinkiewicz in 6th, and Sean Webb in 7th. Want to welcome 9 countries aboard our Globecast of GNCC Racing here at RacerTV.com, and 9 countries wide that Bevo Forti is going to get a chance to say hello to from 100%. Bevo, you've been an icon in the sport. Gosh, back when photos were invented, I think they used to stand out there with that thing, and they take pictures of you. I've seen all those black and whites, but you've been around the sport of motorcycle and ATV racing for a long, long time, man. And being here in Florida this week of Bike Week, GNCC racing, it's kind of like a homecoming for you, I think.
Well, Rodney, you're kind of right. This is my 40th year going to races. You were probably not even born when I was going to my first races, but you know, I was down, obviously, I was at the Daytona Supercross, and hey, people are racing motorcycles here, and we're 100% behind the sport, and that's why we're called 100%.
There you go. And this is a goggle company, and I think it's pretty cool that you guys have stepped up and came back. I think you guys used to be around a long time ago, right?
Yeah, we were in business in the 80s, but we weren't making goggles at that time. It was like moto tile and stuff that was stuff you could put on the application of a bike that was needed in the 80s. But last year, 2 years ago, Ludo was with Braking and One Industries, and he decided that he wanted to get in the goggle business, and I guess he figured since I was in it for like 30-some years, I'd probably be a good guy to be on his team.
I think he's right, but I tell you what, the one thing that you can talk about is this racetrack, these conditions, these 100% goggles are built for things like this, the dust and the mud and the things that these guys are going to be facing. I mean, looking at this track right now, I mean, you could tell that probably goggles are very important.
Well, I'll tell you one thing, Ronnie, looking at that track, I'm glad I'm standing here, number one, but yeah, we have a special sand goggle that we and we also have an enduro goggle that has different foams on. So for different applications, like an enduro goggle has when you're in enduro, it has more of an open cell vent foams because you need more air in your goggle. And here we have a real closed cell vent foam to take care of the sand and the dust.
Wow, that is amazing. Now let me ask you, aside from eating the dust and everything, is there any part of you that wants to get out there and tackle that racetrack?
Yeah, I'd say probably in my 10th or 15th year in the sport, I would have went out there because I did do the alligator enduro a few times. In fact, I raced one of the GNCCs when it was up in Daytona. But I'm not, now it would just be a publicity stunt, and I'm not doing those anymore.
It would be a big publicity stunt. Bevo, thanks for stopping by. You guys got any riders out there?
Yeah, we have Barry Wolf out there. Brian Wolf, he just got on board with us, and we're working pretty close with all the Moose guys. And it's our second year in here, and we're going to be here to stay. I mean, as you can tell, I don't leave. I'm here 40 years.
There you go, man. I know you guys really help out a lot, man. We really appreciate it, and thanks for being here, a part of the GNCC this weekend, man.
Yeah, I'd like to thank the Coombses and everybody up at the organization. They've put this sport on a whole level. I mean, like, who else can bring live TV in a remote area? I mean, you guys are doing a great job, and I'm glad I'm with you.
We're glad to have you aboard Racer TV and GNCC all together, along with Bevo and the folks from 100%. And we'll be back right after this.
Hi, this is Tanner Harding, and today we're going to take a walk around Caleb's 2013 KTM 350 XCF. One of the coolest things about Caleb Russell's bike is it's pretty much all stock. You can go right into your KTM dealer and you can get an XC model, and it's great for trails, it's great for racing, it's a great all-around bike. So that's the 2013 KTM 350 XCF. I'm Tanner Harding, thanks for checking it out.
Sometimes you come across something so different, you just have to stop and check it out. The Rocky Mountain ATV MC website has everything you need, from our huge selection of apparel and gear to dirt bike accessories and OEM parts. Our extensive inventory means most orders arrive in 3 days or less. Get low prices, quick shipping, and incredible customer service. RockyMountainATVMC.com. Get ready.
300 searing degrees. 750 pounds of metal twisting torque. 900 hard charging horses. You will never punish your motor oil like this. But it's good to know you could. AMSOIL. Push it to the limit.
What do you call a machine that combines precision-engineered handling, industry-leading power, and a rider-focused design? We call it a Can-Am. From the essentials to fully loaded, you'll find that same combination in every ATV and side-by-side we build. And right now, get your own for as low as $149 a month. Can-Am, the ride says it all.
Are you ready to race? Appalachian Off-Road Motorcycles and Cross Lanes has everything you need to start racing. Huge inventory of ready-to-race KTM motocross and cross-country bikes in stock. Appalachian Off-Road Motorcycles is also a KTM Orange Brigade ATV dealer. We are one of the top KTM parts, accessories, and apparel dealers in the world. Stop in our showroom or check out our industry-leading website featuring KTM parts, accessories, apparel, videos, product previews, and more. Appalachian Off-Road Motorcycles. Rev it.
Listening along on the Globecast, and welcome to you folks here at the River Ranch itself. Folks, don't forget to stop on over to Moto Tees, pick up your event souvenir t-shirts, and those of you folks listening at home, you can go on to mototees.com and you can get the same great souvenirs we're picking up right here at the racetrack and have them delivered right to your door. As we said there a few moments ago, 9 countries across the world are tuned in right now, listening and watching the RacerX webcast, Globecast right now that is going on, and we're glad to have each and every one of you folks out here with us, and we're going to try to get you up to date on what's taking place. We are an hour and 18 minutes now into this event, and a quick look at our top 10 rundown class by class. We started out with the A classes there, I think, a few moments ago, and I believe we're going to pick up with the College B class where Derek Pitzer leads after 2 now. Pitzer riding the number 348. If you're watching there on the screen, you can see Eric Hoyland, the Hurricane, the number 13 machine, is working his way through some fielded sections, and he's gotten around the number 8, or is the number 8 reeling him in, of Johnny Gallagher. We'll go back and look at those last couple of laps results. And as I take a look at that, it is actually Hoyland gotten around Johnny Gallagher out there. So something going on. He's gotten around Gabe Phillips also, so it looks like the Hurricane's blowing out there, and we may see a storm starting to build here in round number 1, and if that's the case, he can get that kind of confidence. It's going to be interesting to watch him go. There is 2-lap car going out, as I believe our pros should be, there he is. Chris Borich is out front, and actually this is the 3rd lap, so 4th lap. We'll have 5 laps total when this is all said and done now. So Borich is through. Adam McGill out of West Union, West Virginia has checked in. Chris Bithell. Bithell is running in the number 3 spot. The gap between 1st to 3rd, 13 seconds. 6 back to 2nd, another 7 back to 3rd place position. Right now, this is where we get to see whether or not Walker Fowler is able to close up that gap. Remember, he had a 42.9 second gap or better to make up that McClure had suffered from. It might be as much as a minute right now because Fowler was 1 minute and 4 seconds behind the lead pack whenever we set into the 3rd lap of racing. The lap time's pretty close to each other, except this time around, Chris Borich goes from the 28:40 range down to a 28:14, so the track appears to be getting a little faster. At least Borich, McGill, and Bithell seem to be getting faster as the race wears on. There he is, the number 2, Walker Fowler, checking in now. Fowler in with 3, and he's now 50 seconds. So 1 minute and 4 seconds. He's shaved 14 seconds off that lead that those guys have over him at the end of lap number 2. Looking at lap times, check it out. 28:14 for Chris Borich, 28:19 for Adam McGill, 28:21 for Chris Bithell, 28:06 for Walker Fowler. Right now, Walker Fowler looking at the fastest lap on lap number 3 as he's making that charge on the AmPro Yamaha. Hey, folks, as we continue to watch the finish line here, we're looking for Jared McClure, Brian Wolf to be checking in. Actually, McClure is in about 44 seconds behind Fowler, so it looks like that JB ride starting to fade out just a little bit right now in the hot sands of Florida. Looking for Wolf and Henthorne. I believe Henthorne might be inching up on Wolf right now. Pickens, Yoho, and Gallagher to round out the top 10, and we'll be watching the finish line region for that over the course of the next few minutes. And right now we want to welcome back 2011 GNCC motorcycle champ. Was it 10? Wow. All right, 2010 GNCC motorcycle champ, and that is Josh Strang. Josh, welcome back, man. I know you took a year hiatus, and when we last saw you, I remember seeing the look in your eye. It was a look of desperation and a look of my world is coming crashing down, and that was at Loretta Lynn's at the end of the season, I guess, in 11. And, of course, you saw your championship hopes fade away. And, of course, a lot of sponsorship upheaval after that with Suzuki going away, and you had to rebuild your program right from the get-go. And here you are back with us again, man, after spending a year out west. Welcome back to GNCC.
Yeah, thanks. It's good to be back. And, yeah, those are some tough times, but they're behind me now. And got a good bunch of people stepped up for 2013 with Rocky Mountain ATV MC and Amsoil as well is supporting me and backing me, and so it's definitely things have turned around. And I mean, I don't have a semi or anything like that, but I'm so proud of what Jimmy Jarrett, myself, and some of the guys that have been helping me, what we've been able to put together. So I'm excited to start racing again. Yeah, I know. When last we talked to you, I talked to you probably a couple of months ago, right after you and Jimmy had pretty much made the announcement you guys were going to be working together and everything. Tell me a little bit about that. Then you didn't have a whole lot going on. You said, well, I don't know. We're working on some stuff, and we'll know some more stuff in the future. Obviously, Rocky Mountain ATV MC, Amsoil stepping up like that. That are two big additions to that program, I believe. Yeah, well, those two, Rocky Mountain ATV MC, Amsoil, and Maxis as well, are the companies that have really got behind me this year and agreed to help out and get this team of mine up and running. So it was stressful. It was really stressful. Like around the time when I spoke to you on Quad Radio, I think I was still unsure of what was going to happen. And not long after that, the pieces of the puzzle started coming together, and it's pretty cool, man. It's definitely a lot more work to be doing all my own organizing and that sort of stuff. But man, I can do whatever I want. I can get the sponsors I want to get, like Amsoil, Maxis, and Rocky Mountain, and we can kind of run this deal how we want it to be ran, you know, and we can do what we want pretty much. It's amazing. I mean, you got to think of it this way. Now that you've got control, there were things that you couldn't do before, and you were so phenomenal then. It's only got to give you that much more confidence heading into this year, knowing that you've got total control of the program and you've got the kind of support you got coming in behind you right now. Yeah, that helps a lot, and the fact I can pick my own, pick the dirt bike that I want to race made it a lot easier, and I'm definitely happy and enjoying riding again now, which the last year and a half I'd struggled a little bit with, even towards the end there with Suzuki was getting tough. So I'm really happy riding and happy to be back at GNCC racing. Now the question is, what are you going to be riding? I'll be riding a Rocky Mountain back 450. So no brand name? No support from any manufacturers. Unfortunately, I've gone out and bought my own bikes, which that was a tough pill to swallow. But again, that's something that it's like that. It's self-gratifying, isn't it? Yeah, that's what it is. It means a lot more to me, and I appreciate everything a lot more. I tell you, man, a hard worker to get here to the U.S. just to race this series and to be here and be back. Now, let me ask you this question, and I'll let you go, Josh. It was a lot of work to get here the first time, but how much more rewarding and better does it feel to be coming back? It feels really good. Like everyone at GNCC, the Amsoil GNCC series, with this live feed and everything, I'm excited I'm going to go back. When I get back into town, I'm going to do some tweeting and get the Australian fans on and try and get them to watch this on Tuesday. So it's really good, and I'm really excited to be back. It'll be good. Be some good racing this year too, I think. Oh yeah, I mean, look at the talent field right now. I mean, last year we saw, you know, the greatness with Paul and Caleb there toward the end of the season, but you never could count out
Charlie, you never could, Rory. I mean, golly, where did Rory come from? I mean, and now you throw you into the mix. You're going to have Stewart into the mix a little later on. You still got a lot of the key players that's been there for a lot of years, man. I mean, this talent field, I think, is probably about 3 times deeper than it was when you were here 2 years ago.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting anyway, so I don't think any of us will be handed any wins this season.
I don't think so either. But, Josh, welcome back to GNCC, man. Glad to have you aboard, and glad to see that Rocky Mountain ATV MC and also Amsoil's Max is all stepping up to help him find his way back here to our GNCC Racing Nation. He is a true brother and a former champion of the Amsoil GNCCs. What's going on? That looks like McClure into the pits. The number 5 into the JB Racing pits, I believe that is. Let me double check that. They got a number 5, but it looks like something else. Yeah, that's it. Oh, man, tough break for McClure, and that could explain why we saw him fade so much there on that lap. Remember, we were talking about Walker Fowler getting around him, and then whenever they came through, there was a 44-second gap between Fowler and McClure at that point. So that tells me, it gives me a great indication that there was something that happened and something wrong, and now we see that Jody Bateman and the boys from the Cheerwine JB Racing Can-Am team are all taking a look at the situation right now. We see there's JB down there right now, and looks like Darren. Is that Darren down there? Wow, 40 countries are listening in worldwide to our Globecast of GNCC Racing here on Racer TV. We welcome each and every one of you folks out with us. We hope you enjoy what you're seeing, and we're going to try to get you up to date and abreast of everything that's taking place right now. We're kind of watching the situation unfold ourselves right now with McClure's machine taking some sort of a dive out there. We see Joe Borge. He's down there trying to offer some kind of support. See ATVUnderground.com's Todd Swigert down there watching the situation unfold as well. So a lot of interest are gathered in this. And there's even the legendary Tim Farr, former GNCC rider and obviously a former ATV motocross great, former champion of that series and a very strong competitor in the GNCCs many, many years ago. Tim is just Mr. ATV all the way around. And seeing him work with the JB team this year, it's good to see him still involved. They're still working on this machine. Now, McClure is climbing on the bike now, but they're doing something there. And I don't know if that would be a transmission issue over on the left side. It looks like they're working near the left foot area. Maybe we can get somebody over there to get an update here in just a couple of moments and give us an idea of what's going on there in the JB Cheerwine Can-Am pits. And Chris Borch continues to roll solidly with McGill. You see him giving a thumbs up and a smile and a hoot to the camera there. Always a ham, there's no doubt. What happened to Chris Bithell, though? Bithell, the number 4 machine, has seen that gap open up from 7 seconds. Now, I'm going to say at least 10-plus seconds that we're seeing between those second and third place positions now. But Bithell riding on that new Suzuki this year, a whole new program. And you know what's amazing is he's picked up right where he left off a year ago. He was riding the Can-Ams. He was doing well and finishing podium position spots and running about where he's at right now. And he makes the switch, and to be able to pick up where you left off like that, that's normally a pretty good indication that your program is working. And if there are any bugs to work out of this program for Chris Bithell, and he gets those bugs worked out, he could be a major threat to the battle for first place. Look at that. There goes the number 12 machine of Pickens. He's in and out of the pits right now, 6th place ride. Basically, all they gave him was a big splash of water to cool him down. So heat might be becoming a factor now as these riders continue to make their way through the BP Race Fuels Pro Pit area now. We've seen Braden Hinthorn back in the number 7 spot. With us right now, again, Stu Baylor from the two-wheel side of things, and that's something I got to ask about, the heat. I know that a lot of us are accustomed to being not so warm here in southern Florida and so forth, so How big of a factor is things like that for these riders this week?
You know, it's huge. Last year you saw Paul Whibley, who everybody talks about being in, you know, crazy shape. You know, he passed out after the finish almost. You know, he was on his back. Same with Mullins. You know, it's really difficult. It puts a load on your lungs. You know, and you get to a spot where you're so fatigued you don't really know what's going on. You know, you're kind of tunnel vision. You're taking bad lines and you're not riding that great, but you still know you have to race. And the heat really plays a major role. And this is one of the main races where it's like this, and then the other one, of course, is Ohio. You know, it was horrible. And you know, I'm sponsored by Lead. I actually wore a cooling vest, and that seemed to help. But you know, there's only so much you can do at a race like this.
So heat is a big factor, especially I guess in the early part of the season when these guys aren't necessarily used to it or accustomed to it. Checking some of the pro pit racing action going on right now. There is Johnny Gallagher not far off the pace now of the number 13 of Eric Hoyland. Remember, we saw some switch-ups going on between those guys there a little bit ago. Hoyland, as we take a look at the results now in the XC1 class, we got Borge, McGill, Bithell, Fowler, and McClure, your top five. Pickens in 6th, Hinthorn in 7th, Yoho in 8th, Gallagher in 9th, Gabe Phillips in the number 10 spot. There are a lot of questions out there wondering about some of the GNCC favorites from years gone by, and one of the favorites here in Florida always has been Taylor Kaiser, who have been racing with the Balance Yamaha racing team for the last several years, and actually made a tour of the some of the factory teams as well. But Taylor Kaiser reported to be living life now. He said that that's what he's going for, not so much focusing on the racing end of things. However, it has been pointed out, don't be surprised that you might see him show up to an event or two here and there, but the thing that you got to realize is that he is, I guess, taking on different roles in his life, and being a husband is one of those, and living life, as I think is the best way that he put it. Well, folks, that brings us to a break here, and we'll be back with more right after this.
Hi, this is Tanner Harding, and today we're going to take a walk around Caleb's 2013 KTM 350 XCF. One of the coolest things about Caleb Russell's bike is it's pretty much all stock. You can go right into your KTM dealer and you can get an XC model, and it's great for trails, it's great for racing, it's a great all-around bike. So that's the 2013 KTM 350 XCF. I'm Tanner Harding, thanks for checking it out.
Sometimes you come across something so different, you just have to stop and check it out. The Rocky Mountain ATV MC website has everything you need, from our huge selection of apparel and gear to dirt bike accessories and OEM parts. Our extensive inventory means most orders arrive in 3 days or less. Get low prices, quick shipping, and incredible customer service. RockyMountainATVMC.com. Get ready.
300 searing degrees. 750 pounds of metal twisting torque. 900 hard charging horses. You will never punish your motor oil like this. But it's good to know you could. AMSOIL. Push it to the limit.
What do you call a machine that combines precision-engineered handling, industry-leading power, and a rider-focused design? We call it a Can-Am. From the essentials to fully loaded, you'll find that same combination in every ATV and side-by-side we build. And right now, get your own for as low as $149 a month. Can-Am, the ride says it all.
Are you ready to race? Appalachian Off-Road Motorcycles and Cross Lanes has everything you need to start racing. Huge inventory of ready-to-race KTM motocross and cross-country bikes in stock. Appalachian Off-Road Motorcycles is also a KTM Orange Brigade ATV dealer. We are one of the top KTM parts, accessories, and apparel dealers in the world. Stop in our showroom or check out our industry-leading website featuring KTM parts, accessories, apparel, videos, product previews, and more. Appalachian Off-Road Motorcycles. Rev it.
And as we're back here at the GNCC, the River Ranch GNCC in beautiful sunshiny Lake Wales, Florida, we have got racing action continuing, and we've got some updates coming in. We're going to be talking with Action Al from over at Wiseco Performance Pistons here in just a moment, or products, I should say. I had Jen Kenyon in, I thought, with an update on what was going on over there with broken oil line. So Stu Baylor got the word from Jen Kenyon there, a broken oil line. So it looks like they must have got that fixed, and that kind of explains why we saw McClure dropping back so far. And it's kind of taken him out of the race, dropped a few positions, but the good thing is he was looking good. He was looking comfortable on that Can-Am. So I think it's a great marriage and a great fit for those for both those Can-Am team of JB Racing and Cheerwine, and of course the Sneaky Snake, Jared McClure. Step on in here, Action Al. I know that you are a man of action. You want to stand close to the door so you can get out and make something happen. But we're going to bring you inside the studios right now. And Al from Wiseco Performance Products, want to welcome you out here. You have become as much a part of Wiseco, I think, as Wiseco has become a part of GNCC. Wiseco has been a part of this since its inception, basically, many, many years ago, and you've been a big part of it for a lot of years yourself.
Yeah, Wiseco's been here right from the very beginning. Probably the first company to be involved with the GNCC, and I've been doing this for 13 years straight, coming to these races, and I love coming down to the Florida race. Of course, getting out of the Ohio snow and such, but it's awesome being down here right now, and looks like the racing is fantastic racing.
It is fantastic racing, and watching this track, I know you're a rider yourself. You've done some racing and so forth. Looking at this track and how good it is, I know it's a little dusty, a little hot out there. I mean, but is there a little part of you that's itching to get out there?
Oh yeah, I used to come down in the winter series and race sand all winter long, so I come down here, I bring my bike down, and it's like, oh yeah, got to get in the sand, you know, with the whoops and the deep sand, and you know, it's a workout. It's a workout. It'll beat you up, but it's still fun.
It is. It most definitely is, and I imagine working with Wiseco Performance Products is a lot of fun too, man. You guys have got a lot of great things going on.
Yeah, it's great to be in the business, you know, and going to all the races and shows, and you know, being around all the people that you've known for years and the new people, you know, and Wiseco just keeps, you know, forging ahead with new products and then new innovations on products and trying to stay, you know, the leader of the pack and, you know, bring you good, tough products, you know, like our forged clutch baskets. The only forged clutch basket in the world. It's so good we have a lifetime warranty on it. You know, if you can damage it, we'll replace it.
You probably welcome somebody damage it because you want to know what kind of crazy things they're doing to them, right?
We do. I mean, if you do anything to them, I mean, we have you send it in so we can look at it, you know, and just, you know, see if there's a way to improve it even better. You know, that's what we'll be working on.
All righty, sounds good, Al. Pizzino from over at Wiseco Performance Products, as CJ says, Action Al. Action Al. Action, love to have you there right now. Wolf is in the pits right now. We're going to try to get a word on what's going on over there. So Brian Wolf, that GT Thunderback machine, we saw him start to fade a little bit out there. So we're going to try to get an update on what's going on with Brian Wolf over in the pro pits. Right now I want to welcome out some of the countries that are along with us. 40 nations listening worldwide. Iceland, Jordan, also Bulgaria, Ecuador, Estonia, and Slovenia. Welcome to the GNCC Racer TV Globecast of this first round of AMSOIL Grand National Cross Country Championship Racing. All brought to you by your friends at Can-Am, the Ultimate Ride, Rocky Mountain ATV MC, Parts Unlimited, and Moose Racing, and as well our friends at FMF and Maxxis. A tip of the hat to ITP, VP Racing Fuels, Dunlop Tires, Wiseco Pistons, as we talked to Action Al from over there just a few moments ago. Polysport Plastics, the official plastics of GNCC. Midstate Chevrolet, and of course our friends at Liat Braces, protecting and keeping us safe. Taking a look at the situation now, let's check it out. Big changes going on in the XC2 Pro-Am class. Let's back up to the XC1 class, give you an idea. After 3, they're doing in about 9 minutes, but it's Borge, McGill, Bithell. We saw the gap starting to open up between McGill and Bithell now. It's probably about 15 seconds the last time we checked. That is going to be an advantage for Walker Fowler, who was 50 seconds back. He was turning at least 8-second faster lap than Boric, and even add 5 seconds of that, 13 seconds faster, and even 15 seconds faster than Chris Bithell. So Walker Fowler should be closing up the gap here in these final 2 laps if the heat and the dust doesn't overcome him. Right now, McClure, we saw him, oil line. He was in 5th. He's dropped back now. That's moved up. Pickens and Henthorne and Yoho and Gallagher and all those guys have all taken advantage of that situation. But don't count out McClure for a solid top 10 finish here today. I think he's still got it in him. Checking in now with the XC2 Pro-Am. As we told you, big changes on the horizon, and here they are. Josh Merritt drops from the number 1 spot aboard the number 19. He led this one. Lap 1, lap 2, and through most of lap number 2, he drops off to 4th place out of Akron, Ohio now, and Bryson Neal has worked his way up to the pack in the 17 machine. The Bidwell Bullet, they call him, on that Honda backed by DeRisi Racing, has moved into the number 1 position, and he now has a minute and nearly 56-second lead over LP, your defending XC2 Pro-Am champ. The 591, Pat McGuire, 2nd spot. Tommy Kuntz, who has been putting together a phenomenal ride today, riding in 2nd place for a good portion of it, has dropped to 3rd now and holding steady there, only 2 seconds behind Pat McGuire. So McGuire just gotten around, and if Kuntz can hook up with McGuire, they might be able to reel in Bryson Neal, but almost a 2-minute gap. That's going to be a little tough. So Merritt in 4th, Landon Wolf, who has put together a spectacular ride, riding in the number 5 spot. Mike Lancaster in 6th, Chad Jones 7th, Fred Marley 8th, 9th, Matt Hanna, Randy Hamilton rounding out your top 10. As we check out front with our XC1 class, things are really starting to open up quite a bit. Chris Boric, since the 2-lap board has come out, has extended a lead of only about 4 or 5 seconds at times over the precision riding racing ride of Adam McGill. We're looking at about 10+ seconds now, and even more than that, possibly back to the number 4 machine of Chris Bithell, who is running in the number 3 spot, or at least at last check was running in the number 3 spot. All right, out by the 8-mile marker mud hole, which isn't much of a, is that the mud hole? Oh, okay, the swamp, the 8-mile marker swamps. Okay, I see it there now. There is an alternate line around. It looks like a number of the riders are choosing that. Look at that. Bithell has dropped off to at least 20 seconds behind the 2nd place ride, maybe pushing closer to 30 now aboard the number 4. And what does that mean as far as Walker Fowler is concerned? Remember, he was about 50 seconds back behind at the end of lap number 3 of Bithell, and now as we continue to wait and watch, still no signs of Walker Fowler just yet, but if consistency is the case here, we should be seeing him pop in about any time actually, and that's him right there. That is Walker Fowler, and I believe that is less than 50 seconds, so we're looking at somewhere in the neighborhood of 40 to 45 seconds, so he's been able to gain some of that time as they head toward the finish line region and a white flag this next time around. They're due in about 4.5 minutes, at least Chris Boric is, and the gap that he's got now 10 to probably 15 seconds over Boric, or excuse me, Bithell now, or excuse me, McGill, and then even more than that back to Bithell. It'll be interesting to see what this final lap is going to entail. We're 1 hour and 43 minutes into this racing adventure now. And glad that you folks are all joining in. Like we said, here at the racetrack in Lake Wales, Florida, glad to have you in the 40 countries that are listening worldwide. A couple of folks we want to say thanks to associate sponsors that help make it possible this.
Hi, this is Tanner Harding, and today we're going to take a walk around Caleb's 2013 KTM 350 XCF. One of the coolest things about Caleb Russell's bike is it's pretty much all stock. You can go right into your KTM dealer and you can get an XC model, and it's great for trails, it's great for racing, it's a great all-around bike. So that's the 2013 KTM 350 XCF. I'm Tanner Harding, thanks for checking it out.
Sometimes you come across something so different, you just have to stop and check it out. The Rocky Mountain ATV MC website has everything you need, from our huge selection of apparel and gear to dirt bike accessories and OEM parts. Our extensive inventory means most orders arrive in 3 days or less. Get low prices, quick shipping, and incredible customer service. RockyMountainATVMC.com. Get ready.
300 searing degrees. 750 pounds of metal twisting torque. 900 hard charging horses. You will never punish your motor oil like this. But it's good to know you could. AMSOIL. Push it to the limit.
What do you call a machine that combines precision engineered handling, industry-leading power, and a rider-focused design? We call it a Can-Am. From the essentials to fully loaded, you'll find that same combination in every ATV and side-by-side we build. And right now, get your own for as low as $149 a month. Can-Am, the ride says it all.
Are you ready to race? Appalachian Off-Road Motorcycles and Cross Lanes has everything you need to start racing. Huge inventory of ready-to-race KTM motocross and cross-country bikes in stock. Appalachian Off-Road Motorcycles is also a KTM Orange Brigade ATV dealer. We are one of the top KTM parts, accessories, and apparel dealers in the world. Stop in our showroom or check out our industry-leading website featuring KTM parts, accessories, apparel, videos, product previews, and more. Appalachian Off-Road Motorcycles. Rev it.
Watching the 8-mile mud hole out there, or the 8-mile mark, I guess would be the best way to put that. I think this could be considered part of that Maxis mile, that tough mile of racetrack between the 7 and 8 mile marker. So the Maxis mile is where these guys are running right now. And we took a midway report at the halfway point of the last lap, but we found out that this is probably the midway report. So given it a few minutes, we'll check back in with them again as media manager and GNCC guru herself, Jen Kenyon, joins us here inside the broadcast studios. Jen, I know you've been out busy, you've been watching a lot of things. There's been a lot of things unfolding out there as this race has went on.
Yeah, there's a lot of things happening out there, Rodney. Unfortunately, we can't see them all at once, but we're picking them up piece by piece. I just visited Brian Wolf in the pits there. He's in one piece, his bike's in one piece. It looks like he had a little crash that kind of shook him up a little bit, and he looks a little bit sore. He didn't say too much, but I don't think he's going to finish out this one.
So he's going to elect to sit out the rest of the day, but I'm sure he'll be back and ready, chomping at the bit in Georgia, huh?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, he got off to an awesome start. He looked really good out there, and you know, just talking with him and his wife Annie, it looks like they're just happy that they're walking away and they get to spend time with the family, have fun, and just, you know, have fun with it, really. And
that's exactly what Brian Wolf's intentions are this year. I talked to him in the over the winter. He says, I haven't been on my bike since Loretta Lynn's. He showed me a picture of the bike that he had bought. It was torn down in about 1 million different pieces. And then he showed me a picture of a UTV with his kids sitting in it. And he said, this is what I've been doing. Working on that, building that thing, and relaxing with my family. A picture says it 1,000 words, and both those pictures said it all, I believe. But I'll tell you, it's great. And as we're at the midway point of this, 2 laps to go. We're 3 laps down of a 5-lap race, it looks like, Jen. It's time for the Mid-State Chevrolet Midway Report. And you, my friend, I know can speak firsthand about Mid-State Chevy because they have got some great products, and you're driving a Mid-State Chevy truck right now.
Oh my gosh, yeah, that thing is awesome. We actually drove it all the way from West Virginia down here. My coworker Nick, I don't know if anybody here's met him, but he's an awesome guy. He's kind of part of the reason how we got this Mid-State deal put together, and those guys over there are amazing. They gave us an awesome truck. It was brand new. I think it had 18 miles when it went off the lot, and it's probably got like 3,000 already. So, it looks like the white flag's out. Chris Borch in the lead still.
Yeah, and Chris Borch, you know, watching this, has steadily over the course of lap number 4 there stretched out the lead. We were looking at a 6.8-second gap between he and Adam McGill. At last report, I was counting and calculating somewhere in the neighborhood of about 15 seconds. And as we watch Ricky Towery at the finish line right now, it is now turning out to be a well, that wasn't McGill that went through, so it's even more than 22.5 seconds. Wow, it's getting even bigger. The gap is huge. Oh, yeah, McGill did check in 35 seconds behind. 35 seconds behind. My computer's lagging a little bit. So 6 seconds to 35 seconds. I think Chris Borch might have been planning on a 4-lap race. He's already started to stretch things out with more than a lap to go, Jen Kenyon. That's a little odd considering the way Chris Borch normally does it.
Yeah, but you know, I think the way that Chris Borch normally does things isn't always the way he does it in Florida. It seems like when he comes out here, he doesn't try any strategy. He just tries to go out and beat everybody just to make sure he gets that first race out of the way. Everybody knows that he's the champ, so we'll see if he can do that today.
Yeah, that's a good point. He tries to make a point right at the beginning of the year. He you know, and I think McGill said it was best earlier today. He says everybody trains and prepares, and you know, this is the race that everybody trains and prepares for more than any other race of the 12 races of the year. And for what reason? I think he put it just about as well as anybody could, and you pointed it out right there. You want to come down here, you want to show your cards, and you want to let these guys know what you've been doing over the winter, how hard you've been working, and you want to make a statement. And if you can make a statement in these rough conditions, you start playing a little mind games back there, and those guys start thinking about it, and it might be your advantage the next 12 rounds.
Yeah, definitely. And the interesting thing also is that a lot of these guys have been training with each other in the off season, and they sort of, I would imagine that they know kind of where each other's at, but I have a feeling Chris Borch held a little bit inside while he was training with all those guys down here all winter, and now he's really going for it. So
making that statement, that's for sure. So McGill is in second. We've got Chris Bithell in another 44 seconds back in third, and as anticipated, Walker Fowler has closed up the gap on Chris Bithell now. He's within 26 seconds. Look at the lap times. Wow, Walker Fowler even slowed down. Chris Borch turned a 28.19. That still wasn't a 28.06 that Fowler turned on lap 3, but regardless, 28.19, the fastest lap on lap 4. McGill a 28.48. Bithell a 29.45. Walker Fowler a flat 29-minute lap time. Jared McClure 29.13, and that for McClure was a time even with them stopping and fixing the broken oil line. So that's got to make you wonder, wow, what would McClure be doing in these final 2 laps if it was not for the broken oil line? Would he be a factor? Would he and Walker Fowler be able to work his way up and be a part of a podium position battle? Well, unfortunately, we're not going to be able to find out this time, but we will find out in the future, you know, and as we watch the racetrack, we watch the computer screen, we see that 4 laps are down, and we've got 3 laps in for all of our classes, if not all, most. So we'll go ahead and continue our Mid-State Midway Report, Mid-State Chevrolet Midway Report, and Parts Unlimited Top 10 Rundown as we'll go class by class for you now. XC1 class, this is after 4 for the front 4, but Borch, McGill, Bithell, and Fowler. McClure in the number 5 spot, Pickens in 6th, Braden Henthorne in 7th, Kevin Yoho in 8th, Eric Hoyland in 9th, Johnny Gallagher in 10th. XC2 Pro-Am class due in about 4 minutes for their 4th lap complete, but at last check, it was Bryson Neal out front. It was Pat McGuire, the 591, moving into the number 2 spot. About 2 minutes off the pace still, but solidly on the podium at that point. Tom Kuntz Jr. got to say hats off to this rider. The number 39 machine from Fayetteville, Pennsylvania has really risen to the occasion here for the season opener in 2013. Josh Merritt, who also rose to the occasion, led the first couple of laps, found some issues and some problems back in the number 4 spot. Landon Wolf in 5th. Mike Lancaster, the 807 running 6th. Chad Jones, the 220 in 7th. 8th is Fred Marley. 9th, Matt Hanna. He's moving up slowly but surely. And Randy Hamilton rounds out your top 10 in the XC2 Pro-Am. Taking a look now, College A class. Marshall Going still out front in this one. 3-minute and 15-second lead over Clint Graff in 2nd. Jay Shadron in 3rd. Tyler Wares is 4th. Blake Holmes in the number 5 spot. Garrett Harvey runs in 6th. Cole Richardson in 7th. 8th spot, C.J. Frazier. 9th spot, Gregory Covert. And rounding out the top 10 of the College A class, Torrin Johnson. Junior A 22 plus class, Duck Lloyd. A 1-minute and 14-second lead after 3. Slowed his pace down there, believe it or not. He went from in the low 34s to a midway 35 lap. Okay, but now we're heading over to the Pro Pits. Let's turn our attention over there. And if you're watching on our Globecast on Racer TV, Chris Borch just goes through and he's thumbing up everybody down through there. His team was ready to switch goggles. They were ready to give him water. They were ready to do whatever they needed to do for him, but Chris Borch blows them off and keeps rolling. Adam McGill throws an empty water bottle over to his crew. Looks like somebody must have hydrated him in the wood section leading into this, so he's rehydrated. He didn't stop. He's off and rolling. Got a rider stop there and getting a drink. That's actually not from the XC1 or the XC2 Pro or Pro-Am classes. 723, we'll try to look that number up in a moment, but it looks like he got what he was out for, and that was a drink of water. We see Danny Fowler down there, the M-Pro Yamaha rider, Walker Fowler's dad. You can see that he's getting ready to give him a quick bit of advice. Mark Notman, former XC1 Pro GNCC racer himself and now mechanic for Walker Fowler, is also standing by. They've got themselves ready in case Walker needs or wants something. Now, got to wonder if Walker is needing something to drink, maybe something adjusted, because he has slowed his pace down a little bit. There is the number 4 of Chris Bithell making his way through the VP Pro Row now. The VP Fuels Pro Row gassing it hard down that long straight stretch now. And Walker Fowler would be now, looks like they've got the clock on him. As we told you, he was 30 seconds or so back, and there is Fowler now. So you can see he continues to try to reel in a podium position finish here today. And I think regardless of how things finish up for Walker Fowler, they got to say this is a good day in the end, considering his tangle up off the start there, got thrown back to the back of the pack, and has worked his way up to within podium contention. Want to welcome our friends listening in Israel this way, Uruguay, also Croatia, and New Zealand. Welcome aboard our Globecast of RacerTV.com and GNCC Racing here in 2013. Continuing now as we watch Pro Row on our webcast, we're going to go ahead and take a look at our other amateur classes and get you up to date on what's going on out there. Duck Lloyd, the 397 out of Forest, Virginia, leading the Junior A class. Michael Marley in 2nd. Matthew King in the number 3 spot. Nathan Hornacek, the 88 machine, runs in 4th. Brian Toney rounds out the top 5. In 6th place Junior A class, it's Doug Harden. 7th spot, the 443, Josh Huxhold. 8th spot, the 102, Justin Short. 9th place, the 555, Jimmy Rotundo. And rounding out the top 10, Jeremy Stair, the number 927. Moving next to the Vet A class, Chris Barbie leading after 3 there. He had about a 7-minute, 46-second lead over Luke Reeves, who was one of the top competitors in the Vet class last year. Reeves riding for, if I'm not mistaken, DeRisi Racing with Travis Hill back behind them another 2 minutes or so in the number 3 spot. 356 of Sean Webb is 4th, and 5th Todd Demery. 6th Corey Blankiewicz, and 7th is Richie Brown. That's Uptown Richie Brown, not Downtown, not to be confused with Downtown Richie Brown. This is Uptown Richie Brown. Senior AB class 40 plus. Leroy Shook, the 58 from Oldfields, West Virginia on his Yamaha, a 3-minute 37-second lead now in that senior AB 40 plus class over Brian Schmidt. Schmidt had gotten the early lead out of Colton, New York. Got the whole shot, took the early lead, led the first lap or so out front, dropping now to the number 2 spot and losing about 3.5 minutes in the process. We see a gap of 3 minutes 37 seconds now back to the number 2 spot. Martin Whitty, the 355 out of Canada, running in the number 3 spot, and John Glotta Sr., Saddle River, New Jersey's in 4th place. Kenny Schick, College B leader out of Newcastle, PA, 2 minute and 11 second over Brigham Patterson. In the number 3 spot, Derek Pitzer. 4th place, Justin Paul. In 5th spot, Dwight Polar. 6th place, Cody Taylor. In the number 7 spot, Noah Landis. 8th place is Brad Pearson. 9th place will be Thomas Huppert. And rounding out the top 10, Dusty Bell aboard the 817. I'll tell you what, man, as hot as it has been today and as dry and as dusty, I think that the Moose cool-down zone that these riders are going to be able to stop in and cool down as soon as they get off the track today is something that is going to be much needed and very appreciated for sure from our friends at Moose. That's what it's supporting the sport at every level and every way. How many folks do you know just hand you a bottle of water right after the race, give you a towel to cool yourself off with? Bryson Neal did check in. And as we watch our monitors, Chris Borch is out the 4-mile marker now, and actually about the 4.2 past the bridge section. If you're familiar with the racetrack, Borch is on a rail just slicing and dicing through lap traffic. Those guys all getting out of his way. You got to wonder what's he yelling at those guys to make them move so quickly. Kevin Patterson, William White, Walter Shoemaker, Cody Fox, and Ryan Kaufman, your top 5 junior B-class riders. And the vet B-class, Jeffrey Flynn, Gabe Baltazar, Matt Darnley, Daniel Webb, and Aaron Delancey. Jeremy Meyer, the man from Amsoil, First in Synthetics, has joined us here in our broadcast booth now. And Jeremy, I just want to say thanks to Amsoil. You've been a big part of the off-road racing world, GNCC racing for a number of years now, and this year you guys really step up.
Well, you know, we've been working with MX Sports, with Loretta's ATV MX. We've been a partner of GNCC for several years now, and you know, it's an opportunity that we couldn't pass up. And being out here and seeing the passion of all these ATV and bike fans, it's good to see.
It is, most definitely. Today's the first day I've seen your face, man. You've probably been busy with Bike Week and everything gearing up, huh?
Yeah, we're the official oil of Bike Week, and you know, we had Supercross last night, so we saw Will Hahn take a nice second there last night, and Eli and all those guys raced for us. It was a lot of fun up there. So down here today, just enjoying a little GNCC action.
Yeah, that's great. And you know what's really cool? I was talking with Josh Strang, and I understand that you guys are on board with him, a big part of his program. I think it's cool, man. Not only are you helping the series, you're helping riders and everything. I mean, that's good to see Amsoil stepping up like that.
Yeah, you know, if we're going to get involved, we kind of like the 3-tier approach, you know, where we get some series sponsorship, and then we get a good quality rider like Josh, and, you know, we're starting to look into the ATV side. One of the reasons I'm down here this weekend, and, you know, find some partnerships there. And, you know, if we can always put a face on the series, it's really good for us and our dealers, and it's just a great opportunity. Josh is going to be great for us. He's been great to work with so far, and hopefully he has a good run this week.
No doubt. I can expect that. Amsoil full force in the house, inviting folks to stop by, I'm sure, right?
Oh yeah, you know, we got a couple dealers here this weekend. We're gonna have dealers at every round. You know, you can find out about products wholesale. You know, how to get it delivered right to your door for whatever you're driving: diesel, ATVs, bikes, big trucks, little trucks, anything you got.
Anything that needs lubrication, Amsoil's got an application, right?
Yeah, we've been doing it since 1972, so we got a little bit of practice at it.
That's it. Amsoil, First in Synthetic. Jeremy Meyer, thanks for stopping by, brother. Appreciate you being a part of our worldwide GNCC Globecast here. And right now we continue to wait and watch to see how this one is going to unfold. We have just now hit the 2-hour mark. Generally, we look for a 2-hour race, or as one close to 2 hours as we possibly can. With the way the laps are moving, we like to give 15 minutes leeway. So if they can't get in within 15 minutes of the 2-hour mark, they'll go the extra hour, which will put them maybe as close as 10 after 2 before it's all said and done. And we're possibly looking at closer to a quarter after 2 before these guys will be done. That's how tight those guys were coming down, trying to figure out how many laps. Was it going to be 4? Was it going to be 5? Is it going to be 4? The call had to be made. It went to a 5-lap race, and now that could play into the favor of some, while others, it could be a factor that maybe takes them completely out of this race. As we pointed out, the heat, a big issue here in Florida. It's kind of mid-south Florida, if you will. We're getting down towards the southern part of Florida. The sun and temperatures are a little more extreme, especially for riders that have been riding up north and training and practicing up north. These kind of temperatures are things that they are not used to, and obviously the dry, dusty conditions that we've talked about, the lack of rain here this year has made for another variable and another obstacle for these riders to have to try and encounter. But you know what? GNCC racers, they persevere, they do what they got to do, and that's exactly what they're doing. They're riding their hearts out right now through the dust, through the mud, through whatever they encounter out there, the heat, the sweat in their eyes, you know, and maybe even some of them blood on their knuckles where they've been bouncing off some of those trees and things. But it's a pretty amazing ride that these guys are putting forth here today, especially the first round. And, you know, you almost got to wonder, Stu Baylor back in here with us, you almost got to wonder, is it good to have Florida first with the heat and everything, or would it be better to have it more midsummer?
You know, honestly, I love the Florida first. You know, I wish we came here again, you know, dead middle of the summer to really see who the toughest guy is.
That would definitely point it out. And, you know, the great thing about this is we're a part of the Bike Week family. You know, Daytona's a few hours north of us, but GNCC has been a big part of it, and we get to see a lot of the top individuals coming down from Daytona and from all the manufacturers and supporters of off-road and motorcycling and ATV sports, and we're just glad to be able to be a part of Bike Week here in the 2013 season once again. We're happy to be here at Lake Wales for our first round of GNCC racing, the Moose Racing River Ranch GNCC. It's all a part of the AMSOIL Grand National Cross Country Championship. Leaders due in now in about 12 minutes, and though the radio reports have been few and far between today, I think that we've pretty much seen the tail of the tape out there for ourselves as they have made their way around this race course. Some tight racing situations a couple of different times, but for the most part, in the last 2 laps, we have seen things really start to blow wide open in both the XC1 and the XC2 classes. Now let's take a look at the overall, give you an idea how things are shaping up here right now, heading in through this final lap of racing. We've actually only got the top 16 riders that have checked in from the top 20 overall right now, and it's Borge, McGill, Bithell, Fowler, McClure, all the way down to Jeffrey Pickens, your 6th place position ride. And then it's Bryson Neal, the Bidwell Bullet, the number 17 up to a 7th place position. And Stu, I know you guys are around probably the same age. You and Bryson, you guys ever hang out much or talk much?
You know, I've seen him a few times. You know, I've talked to him at the banquet and stuff. I know Landon Wolf a little better than him. You know, Landon hangs out with Chris, and I met Landon through Chris, and I hung out there with my last 2 surgeries. You know, he's in Maryland, so I went to Philadelphia, and I hung out there. And the other surgery in New York, I got to hang out with him. You know, and both of those guys are young, and they're both fast, and they were competing against each other all last year, and both of them broke into top 10 overall for the A class. So you know, I knew coming here, you know, as far as watching the quad guys, those 2 are the ones to watch, and you know, I think you'll see a lot of good things from them.
I think you're right, and we're already starting to see tip of the iceberg of it with with Bryson Neal in 7th place now, and like you say, Landon Wolf, he is currently 2nd in the XC2 Pro-Am class, but he is 11th place overall, and some pretty big, amazing accomplishments. Both those guys, like you said, top 10 in the overall last year whenever they were riding A classes. So to see him make this step up into the XC2 Pro-Am, not so much of a surprise, as we're joined once again by media manager Jen Kenyon, as she's got some special reports coming in from the AMSOIL Grand National Cross Country Championship Series kickoff for 2013. What's going on, Jen?
I was actually just talking to Hunter Hart over there, and I was going to try and get him over. Maybe he could come on and talk to you guys a little bit about this morning's track.
Yeah, that would be great. Hunter Hart, who is a former national champion, and last year had some injuries and stuff. Eluded that championship last year, but he comes here today and makes a statement in the morning youth race earlier this morning and takes a big win. Congratulations, Hunter Hart. I want to say picking up right where you wanted to today. I know that coming into this one you were a little nervous, especially the way things went with the injuries and stuff last year. You just wanted to come and win, and that's what you were able to do.
Yeah, I was definitely really nervous coming into this one, but I mean, I had been down here for the past 3.5 weeks just training and just riding, and I mean, sure, I had pre-race jitters, but I always got those, and they slowly started to wear off. And like, I definitely wasn't as nervous as I've been in the past, but just normal pre-race jitters.
Normal pre-race jitters and focused, it sounds like. Now, Hunter, tell us a little bit about this track. I was talking to some of the micro riders, the 50cc riders that raced yesterday, and it was funny. They kept saying bumpy, 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 and it was rough for those guys yesterday. Did you guys encounter a lot of that? I know you were riding different tracks and everything, but did you guys encounter a lot of bumps out there?
Oh, tons of them, but I mean, my custom axis shocks just worked so great through the corners. I mean, just like it was like riding on air. Like any bump I'd hit, it'd just be like, it'd kind of float over and just hook right back in.
Well, I'll tell you what, why don't you tell us what these guys are faced with out there on the track? I know we can watch it on the monitor, we can see it from the track side, but you rode it, man. What are these guys faced with right now?
Right now, I raced at 8 a.m., and I bet you it's changed a lot since then. But when I went, you probably had half foot deep ruts starting to develop in the whoops. The whoops definitely started to get worse and worse as the day went on, but I mean, it's probably real rough, sandy, dusty.
And I'm sure the heat's playing a big factor too.
Oh yeah, the heat's definitely, like the first day I was down here, it was so brutal on me. My hands just hurt so bad after one day, and I mean, I hadn't sweat that much. Like, I just put my gear on, put my helmet on before I even started my quad the first day I was down here. I was sweating bullets.
Well, I tell you, being from New York, man, it's a big change in climate, isn't it?
Yeah, when I left, the day before I left, I put about 100 miles on my snowmobile, and one of my friends just actually called me, said that it's 60 and sunny right now.
Wow, that's crazy in only a month's time. Well, Hunter, congratulations on your first win of the season. Good luck to you, and thanks for stopping by, man.
Yep, no problem.
That's your overall winner from this morning's Youth ATV Racing. That's Hunter Hart out of New York, and he's been down here in Florida for the last few weeks, getting accustomed to the heat, getting accustomed to the sand, and getting ready for GNCC Racing in 2013. Well, folks, we're less than 7 minutes out from seeing a checker flag fly. According to our calculations right now, if everything goes according to the way it has been going, Chris Borich will be checking in about 6 minutes and 38 seconds. And we'll be watching that white flag turn to checkers here pretty soon. And just the amazing display of manliness today in the heat, the sand, the roughness. I mean, Chris Borich making that statement. I joke about this. Gabe Phillips said, I ride with Chris, but he goes, you know what? I don't ride with Chris. He says, it's actually unfair. He said there should be a rule against Chris Borich. He is so good right now. And, you know, we get a big chuckle and a big laugh out of that, but we talk about how he chased down Bill Balance. Bill Balance chased down Barry Hawk. Barry Hawk chased down Bob Sloan. But, you know, I mean, the list just goes on and on, but the talent field is so much deeper and so much thicker this year in 2013, and I think the next 2 years are going to see even more talent start to develop. Stu Baylor, I think that you recognize that even from the motorcycle side of things. You guys got a lot of talent there, but, man, looking at these ATVs, it's deep right now.
Yeah, you know, well, you've got Chris, who's apparently out front and has been for the last 4 years, and you know, before that, like you said, Balance, and you know how Chris got there. He was chasing Balance. You know, he had the goal, and Balance had the target on his back, and now Chris has got that target, and you know,
there seems to be a lot more marksmen out there today taking shots at him than there was whenever he was taking shots at Bill Balance.
Yeah, you know, it was just him out there. You know, there was the other group of guys. The quads normally stay kind of in packs. I guess you could say wolf packs. You know, they're just kind of they're kind of all in one group, and then there's like Chris, and you know, before there was Balance, and there's the one guy that's got the main gun that's coming down, and I think right now, you know, it's McGill. He's got the point to prove after last year. You know, he had a difficult year, so you know, he's definitely going to be pushing hard. you know, apparently Chris is still the man to beat, and he's proven that right now. No matter how this goes, he could break down right now, but the guys know who's going to win the next one.
Exactly. As long as he stays healthy and stays the machine running strong, you know that he is going to be the one to beat. And, you know, when he gets off the racetrack here in a few moments, they're going to be heading over to the podium, and they're going to be going through the slick cleaning station. That's something you might get the opportunity to work with a lot in the future, Stu, as well as Slick Off-Road Wash is going to be providing us with clean equipment to take onto the podium. And, folks, whenever you get a chance to check out Slick Off-Road Racing products for yourself, be sure and do so. And I got an update. Walker Fowler has moved into the number 3 spot. We've got the changes going on there. The only thing that I don't know is what happened to put him there. Chris Bithell, who was running in the number 3 spot, has dropped off to at least 4th now, and Bithell is still moving and still pretty motivated out there. So I'm not really 100% sure what would have caused Bithell's problem. I would say probably this late in the race, seeing that gap open up, one of two things happened. He either relaxed too much and Walker was able to sneak up, or he was pushing too hard, made a mistake, and Walker was able to catch up. Whatever the case may be, Fowler has done an amazing thing, going from back of the pack up through, worked his way through the mid-pack, and actually was turning the fastest lap of the race at one point out there at a 28:06 in the traffic, in the chase down mode, and just turning some phenomenal lap times. To take a look at his lap times now, by comparison the last time around, it looked like he might have slowed down a little bit, because he went from a 28:06 to a 29-minute flat. He did, I guess, but everybody else slowed down too, so it must be conditions starting to really start to change. Now, Stu, as a racer, you see a lot of changes from lap 1 to lap 2, but it's got to be those last couple of laps that the real changes start to take place.
Yeah, you know, especially in Florida, it's so soft, it's changing the whole time. And you know, you weren't here whenever we were watching the bottleneck in the second corner with Fowler, but you know, I mentioned then, this is a long race. You know, you can make it up, and you know, he's just proving that you can. And it's difficult for him coming from that far back at this particular race with the dust. You know, there is good passing out there, but with the dust, you know, you really can't see those lines. Everything's not opened up, and you really have to focus on what's going on other than the lines. But you know, it's different out there. You know, every lap, you know, you come around one corner and you're expecting a route here, but now the route has a big pothole in front of it, and you've really got to knife across the track and use the whole track to your advantage. And you know, that's what these guys are doing now, and Chris really knows how to do it. He uses the whole track, and you'll see him set up way before a corner. He'll be completely out of the bumps, and he knows where to set that quad, and he can do it at speed that nobody can touch. And you know, I think that's what the other guys really have to aim for, is being able to figure out how to do that. So, you know, right now they're just setting up for the last lap, and Fowler apparently has to drive, and Bithell was there early, so you know, Bithell's probably struggling. He was trying to run with Chris, and it's hard to do, so I'm sure he's pretty winded by the time Fowler called up.
Oh, I'm sure, but I tell you, man, this right here sets the stage. It shows us what kind of true grit, heart, and determination these guys have got, whether they raced and led early or whether they worked their way up through the pack. It's really becoming very evident. Chris Borch, Adam McGill, Walker Fowler now in 3rd. Chris Bithell is 4th. Jared McClure in 5th. Jeff Pickens is 6th. And that is your top 6 XC1 Pro Class rides. Now let's still take a look at not just the overall, but the XC2 Pro-Am class. They're due in about 13 minutes. The Bidwell Bullet, Bryson Hill out front, Landon Wolf in 2nd, as we told you, about 3 minutes separating those two. Tommy Kuntz, Pat McGuire. Wow, so we've seen a big change going on there. McGuire, I think, was up to 2nd there at one point, unless there was some sort of computer glitch there. And if that's the case, we do apologize. I will say this, McGuire now is only a minute out of a top 3 position as they headed into the 5th lap of racing, so we could see maybe something to begin to develop there for McGuire, and the possibility of a podium position finish before it's all said and done. And as we turn our attention over to the finish line region, we have got XC1 Pro Class riders heading toward the finish line, and there in the chicanes, it looks like the number 1 of Chris Borch now ready to take yet another win here on the sands of Florida and set the stage for 2013, and one more win closer to becoming the winningest GNCC racer of all times. Chris Borch working his way through the final turns now as the crowd gathers round and ready to congratulate him. One more big turn, and Chris Borch now only 8 race wins away from being the winningest GNCC racer, and he is your 2013 Moose Racing River Ranch GNCC champion. Wow, what a day to say the least for Chris Borch. We saw him out in the lead early. We saw him fall back off the pace a little while behind the 521 of Adam McGill. Then we saw him get around McGill. We saw those guys go nose to tail with, Chris Bithell even there for a little while. And what a great battle that was ensuing there. And then all of a sudden, Bithell starts to fade back. And then all of a sudden, the gap really opens up between first and second as Chris Borch, when the 2-lap board came out, put the hammer down and went into checkout mode. Right now, it is the 521 that we watch making his way through the final chicanes now to the finish line region. It is Adam McGill, and again, we're anticipating Walker Fowler not far behind him as McGill heads to the final turn there in the Amsoil chicanes, and McGill takes a second place position to open up 2013. As far as third place, we're looking for Walker Fowler, but that's not a guarantee. Also looking for our College A 16 to 21-year-old class rider Marshall Goings to most likely be our top overall amateur today, non-pro racer. But regardless, each and every one of these guys have put in a stellar performance, and Walker Fowler doing just that, coming from back of the pack after a crash off the start, and now has moved into the number 3 position, and only a few more turns to go before he claims his position on the podium, those third place points, and still looking like he could be a threat for the championship here in the 2013 Amsoil Grand National Cross Country Championship. The M-Pro Yamaha rider now making his way through the final chicanes now and trying to get through some lap traffic, it appears, but the deal is done, and it has been set in, well, not set in stone yet. No stones have been carved just yet, but we'll wait just a few moments. There's Walker Fowler checking in now. We see him. Final turn now. Walker Fowler still running with a vengeance. I'm going to be curious to see what his lap time is like here on this final lap as he checks in now with 5 laps. Chris Borch on that final lap turned a 28:59. Adam McGill turned a 29:23. Walker Fowler a 29:34. So as fast as he looked there at the end, he actually, I think, slowed down a little bit. Well, those guys are headed to the Slick Off-Road Wash Station to get themselves cleaned up and head over to the podium here in just a couple moments. We'll have podium celebrations coming up. There's Chris Bithell checking in the number 4 spot out of Irwin, Pennsylvania. Had a comfortable position there, but obviously would rather have been in the third place that he fought and worked so hard to hang on to throughout the course of the day. It's a heartbreaker for the number 4 machine, but it should be good incentive with the new program that he is running this year. When you got a new program, a total program change, you go from being a full-on factory rider where you were catered to and had everything done for you, to a situation where you're the man, you're the mechanic, you make the phone calls, you do this, you do that. Well, Chris Bithell says he likes it a little better. He feels like he's in more control, and he likes being in control in his program. So far, so good. It looks good, man. The Suzuki has tuned in well with him, and I think that maybe he has found a good marriage here in 2013. I want to say thanks to a couple other folks to help make it all possible. Twin Air, for all your Twin Air filters and oils and cleaners. Also Fox Racing Shocks, we salute them. Moto Tees, be sure and go to Moto Tees and check out your event souvenir t-shirts. You can do it online. You can also do it right here at the racetrack. 100% goggles. I want to say thanks to Bevo Forti for stopping by the booth. Also Tire Boss reps down there. Pat McGuire, who's racing in the XC2 Pro-Am class. And, of course, Team Faith, Chuck LeMaster out here with us. And we want to salute our friends at Racer X Illustrated, one of our great media partners as well. And I believe we can also salute ATVRiders.com. They do a lot of help and send a lot of love our way as well. So there is your top 4 so far, and still haven't seen the 5th place ride. You know, It seems a little odd to see this big gap. 10 years ago, though, a 3-minute gap between first and second was nothing all that strange, you know, Stu. And now to see a 30-second gap, man, it almost seems like an eternity sometimes.
Well, you know, in the quads especially, those guys stay super close all day, and, you know, Borch seems to always pull it together on his good days right at the end and just, you know, rip the lead. And, you know, I think he's just got that speed on reserve. And, you know, the other riders are seeing it now, and I think they're trying to set it up where they're there in the end. But Chris really knows how to play the game. And, you know, to see the big gap, you know, it doesn't surprise me. These guys are on a different level than some of the other guys. And, you know, on the bikes, there's some big gaps every once in a while. But, you know, I guess the racing isn't as close over 3 hours. But, you know, in this 2-hour stuff, you know, these guys are almost sprint pace the whole entire time.
Yeah, it is. That's a good point. I mean, those guys can run almost a sprint pace, like you say, right from the very get-go. And right now we got still only the top 4 that have checked in. So we had a 4-minute, 20-second gap back to McClure at the end of lap number 4. And at the end of lap number 5, it could be opened up a little bit more. Could see Pickens moving up. But congratulations to Borch, McGill, and Fowler, your top 3. And we'll be watching for the XC2 Pro-Am rides, Bryson Neal, Landon Wolf, and Tom Kuntz. Or will Pat McGuire be able to pull a rabbit out of his hat today and find a position on the podium? Looking at a 1-minute gap, and if you look at lap times, actually, those guys were neck and neck. That's right. If you remember, McGuire was in second. I see what happened. McGuire lost a minute, and that's where he lost those 2 spots, and he fell behind Tom Kuntz. They were only a couple of seconds apart, if you remember, second and third place position. So there's been some big changes taking place there. It's going to be interesting to hear the story from Landon and Bryson. Landon looking at the possibility of a top overall amateur there for a while. Now you got to wonder if that might not belong to Bryson Neal. The one way to find out for sure, though, is to scan down through our results. And Marshall Goings is currently 21st place overall, which does put him the top non-pro class rider. And I just got the word there, Stu Baylor telling me that Landon Wolf actually elected to ride his practice bike here in the Sandsville.
He had problems. This morning I went over there, and I could tell his dad was pretty stressed out. It looked like they were having some problems, and he was riding the quad that it looked like he had ridden yesterday for practice. Last minute, something happened to his race bike, so he's out there on that. And then also, you know, he had the difficulties in the pits earlier, as we saw on the camera. You know, I don't know what went on there, but he had run down the leaders, and or Merritt at the time was the leader, and you know, that's another story we can hear here in a few minutes, what happened to Josh out there.
Yeah, man, it's going to be interesting to see what those stories are like right now as we finally. No, we still only got the top 4 in. Borch, McGill, Fowler, and Bithell are still the only ones to check in. And I guess, you know, those, like you said, those guys are on a whole different level all by themselves right now, and especially in the sands and heat of Florida. So definitely a crazy end of this one. I expected it to be a little tighter, but those last 2 laps, man, that was the tail of the tape. Those first 3, I think that anybody can get by on talent and a little bit of training maybe, but it's the last 2 laps, I think, that tell the tail of the tape right there.
Yeah, you know, that plays some of it, you know, the fitness role, and you know, then also you have to really know how to play the game towards yourself, and Chris apparently knows how to play his cards, and you know, right now he's doing it well, and it's just a matter of time before somebody else figures it out, and maybe we'll have a really good battle for the finish.
Oh, that, yep, I can see it happening sometime, that's for sure. It's coming down to that, but wow, again, big gaps there from 4th on back, but you know, doesn't matter. It still puts together some good. Now, here's another thought about that. Now, I know McClure is having some problems. McClure just came through. He was 420, now 614 behind Chris Bithell. I got to wonder. Now, McClure probably decided, okay, just back off a little bit. My day's done. Got that oil line changed and everything like that. But a lot of those guys might be thinking as well, I got a week or less, really, to be ready to race in Georgia. I've got blisters to worry about on my hands. I've got you know, sore bones and muscles that I've got to worry about in a week's time. So a lot of these guys might be might have decided to hold back just a little bit, and It would make sense if they did. But our top 5 River Ranch GNCC results in the XC1 Pro Class right now. Chris Borch, the number 1, taking the win. Adam McGill, the 521 in second. Third spot, Walker Fowler aboard the number 2. Chris Bithell, the number 4 in fourth. And rounding out the top 5, the number 5 of Cheerwine JB Racing's Jared McClure. We'll be back right after this here from the Moose Racing River Ranch GNCC.
Hi, this is Tanner Harding, and today we're going to take a walk around Caleb's 2013 KTM 350 XCF. One of the coolest things about Caleb Russell's bike is it's pretty much all stock. You can go right into your KTM dealer and you can get an XC model, and it's great for trails, it's great for racing, it's a great all-around bike. So that's the 2013 KTM 350 XCF. I'm Tanner Harding, thanks for checking it out.
Sometimes you come across something so different, you just have to stop and check it out. The Rocky Mountain ATV MC website has everything you need, from our huge selection of apparel and gear to dirt bike accessories and OEM parts. Our extensive inventory means most orders arrive in 3 days or less. Get low prices, quick shipping, and incredible customer service. RockyMountainATVMC.com. Get ready.
300 searing degrees. 750 pounds of metal twisting torque. 900 hard charging horses. You will never punish your motor oil like this. But it's good to know you could. AMSOIL. Push it to the limit.
What do you call a machine that combines precision engineered handling, industry-leading power, and a rider-focused design? We call it a Can-Am. From the essentials to fully loaded, you'll find that same combination in every ATV and side-by-side we build. And right now, get your own for as low as $149 a month. Can-Am, the ride says it all.
Are you ready to race? Appalachian Off-Road Motorcycles and Cross Lanes has everything you need to start racing. Huge inventory of ready-to-race KTM motocross and cross-country bikes in stock. Appalachian Off-Road Motorcycles is also a KTM Orange Brigade ATV dealer. We are one of the top KTM parts, accessories, and apparel dealers in the world. Stop in our showroom or check out our industry-leading website featuring KTM parts, accessories, apparel, videos, product previews, and more. Appalachian Off-Road Motorcycles. Rev it.
The time, CB himself, Chris Borch! Good talk to all these great guys here in just a moment. Right now, though, we are ready to talk here with Walker Fowler, who took a third-place position finish today. And I just got to say, Walker, let's grab that trophy down there. But, man, Walker, what a phenomenal ride today. You know, coming into the GNCC's 2013, it's not so much of a surprise to see that Walker Fowler would be on the podium. The thing that folks have got to take into account, what took place out there on that first lap, that first couple of turns out there, and then the conditions that you had to work it through the pack in to get into podium position. Let's talk about it. First and foremost, talk about the start.
I got on the ground.
You did it, man. What happened?
I don't know.
It just happened so fast, huh?
Yeah, I figured I'd get the whole shot and try to check out in the dust, and I ended up knowing what the dust tastes like, and it's not good. I don't recommend eating any of it, but jumped up, I thought I was good, broke my tether, looked up, but it broke off of me, so luckily it kept running, and went like a quarter mile and hit another tree and flipped it over. I was like, man, this is a good day. I'm feeling good right now, you know, just real chipper, happy. Most positive outlook I've ever had on a race. That's a joke.
Yeah, I can tell. You're pretty down on yourself at that point. But the cool thing about it is, Walker, here you are. You got all these adversities and everything going against you. And what did you do to switch it around, turn things around for yourself right there?
At that point, you just got to start riding, and I got all my mistakes out of the way and just started doing laps like I know how to do. And it's a shame I got so far back so quick, I guess. And it's just like last year, I got in the lead for about 3 seconds, and I broke a steering stabilizer that we were testing for Olin's, and shouldn't have ever done that at a race. That was a terrible idea. And I don't know, it just, like I said, I just kind of put my head down, relaxed, made a couple little errors that next first lap and just kept getting further behind. And like I said, just kind of sat down, took a breath, said, you got time to salvage points instead of keep losing them. So I just started charging, and it's a long season. You don't want to be down at the beginning. So overall, I'm real satisfied with this race. New team and a lot of new products, and I don't know, I'm feeling pretty good.
When did you feel like you could get yourself in podium position?
Probably around lap 3. Started to catch McClure and a couple other guys, and I just figured, they said basically I was like a minute off, and I was like, man, that's a long time. And then it was like, oh, hey, lap later, you're 30 seconds from doing the math in my head. I was like, well, I better just keep doing what I'm doing and hope that nobody else picks it up, because I got a chance at this. And I don't know, as soon as I caught Biffle, he was riding really good, but I just kind of hung back and just waited and just put on a charge and basically pulled up next to him before he ever realized I was even there. And that's the only way I was going to be able to do it, with the dust. And I just tried to make as much dust as possible, because I could tell he was tired and I was just beat. So I'm just happy to get off the thing.
Speaking of beat, let me see your hands. Ooh. That's not as bad as what we saw last year, though.
No, I've had way worse, but it definitely still doesn't feel that splendid.
Wow, man, I tell you, you held on tight and you pushed really hard. You put yourself in podium position, like you say, man. Got some valuable points, and you clicked them off one after another throughout the course of that 2 hours and 15 minutes of racing. Walker, who do you need to say thanks to, brother?
I definitely want to thank the good Lord Jesus Christ, first and foremost, just for blessing us all today. I want to thank my mechanic, Mark, here. I could tell he was nervous all weekend building bikes and working on stuff, so definitely stoked to finish this race and not have a mechanical failure. Like I was telling him, I'd rather it be on my shoulders and be my fault. So today it was on me. Bike was awesome, so thanks, Mark. Definitely want to thank the whole Ampro Yamaha team. Those guys are definitely, doing everything they can to make sure I'm up here every weekend. So here's one. Hopefully I'm over there next time, but as long as I'm up here every, 13 races, it's going to be a real good year. I want to thank Moto Experts, Dragon Racing Fuels, Maxxis Tires, Lone Star Fly, Fox Tire Balls, Hyper Wheels, DP Brakes. Larry's here. Thanks, Larry. Outerwears, Vortex, Precision, Yamalu, Garnet, Fast, Anti-Gravity Batteries, Cycra, Liat. Thanks to Liat for sure, because I definitely was lawn dart there, so definitely a big fan of these things. Wiseco, X-Brand Goggles, excuse me, Waynesburg Yamaha, IMS, CV4, G4 Graphics, Works Connection, GYTR, DID Chains, Quad-Tech, and D4 Power Sports. It's Derek Tremaine, who is Taylor Kaiser's old mechanic. If he was here, he's having a baby today. Not him, his wife, of course. But if he was here, definitely big congratulations to him. Brock, all the FTR guys had an awesome time down here this winter. It's just a big family, so definitely want to thank everybody.
Ladies and gentlemen, Walker Fowler, third place here at the Moose Racing River Ranch GNCC. As we move over here to second place, now put your hands together for this guy. Put together a spectacular ride today, Mr. Adam McGill. Kurt, man, I tell you, this was a good ride, and it was a good way to start off the 2013 season, man. I mean, you come out here and you got yourself a good start, and you got yourself a good ride there with leading the race early on.
Oh shit, dude, it's rough, so.
You look wore out.
Yeah, I'm pretty wore out. I mean, my back's sore. Todd Sterner, my old mechanic, asked me, he said, you ready to go another lap? I said, if it's only you, so we'll go. But man, it was a rough one today.
I know, and that's one thing we were talking about, track conditions and things like that. I mean, the track obviously gets always rough here in Florida, maybe even rougher this year because of the drier conditions, and we've raced here so many times before in the past, maybe a lot of those sections, but man, it's something else that had to be a big factor. We know coming into it, the heat, we're not used to that, but the dust, man, I mean, we were looking at some of those sections of the track, you couldn't see in front of your face, it looked like.
Oh, it was bad. Like Walker said, we get out there and I got in front there for a bit, and I was just like, you know what? I'm going to blow this berm. I'm going to make a big spray and just cover everybody behind me. And man, that's about the only thing you could do. I mean, you stretch a little bit in the dust and then they gain on you in the fields. It was just, I mean, it was literally like you was a slinky all day. You know, you'd pull and you gain and you stretch it and you gain it back up. So it was definitely an interesting day. I think we made for. So anyway.
Last couple of laps, man. Take us down to that. What happened?
I just got my skirt caught in the chain. That's pretty much it. I got tired. It was a rough day. I mean, I had a good start. Wish Harlan would have backed off it just a little bit there. I think I could have got it, but, you know, Woodhead ended up getting, I think, Braden, so hats off to him. And, you know, we come through the first lap, and I was behind them guys, and Harlan ended up stalling it. Me and Boris got around him, and Braden led for a bit. He pulled over and let us go, and I was like, all right, we'll just ride right here right now. And, yeah, we rode there for a bit, and I was like, you know, I'm tired of eating this dust. I went around him and passed him down here at this FMF section, which is really, really neat. And, you know, pretty much after that, coming to the field section, ended up forgetting the turn was a 90, ended up blowing the turn. He got back around me, and we stayed right there all day, and, you know, come down to the last lap, and Haley held out a sign that said, don't get tired yet. And I'm like, baby, it's too late. I'm wore out. So, I mean, I pretty much just put my head down, had to dig deep. My hands hurt, my back hurts, pride hurts, everything hurts today.
Well, let me see the hands. You got oh man, you look how tough you are, man. Not a blister one.
Tougher woodpecker lips, eh?
You sure are, man. That's great. But who do you want to say thanks to?
I definitely want to thank my dad for prepping out my quad. I mean, you know, he brought it. Pretty much we was on the phone all winter long making sure this thing happened, and you know, he was able to make it go. And you know, Haley for helping me with getting everything ready and getting my mind ready, helped keep me calm. You know, we went to Disney this last week and went to the beach and just kind of took some time off, and you know, that was much needed. And you know, definitely thank Precision, my title sponsor, ITP, RGs, you know, Lone Star, Custom Axis, Calgar, Streamline, outerwears, you know, like you said with the dust, ODI, DWT wheels, Dirt Works, you know, DP Brakes, as Walker said, is here today. So, you know, we can only go so fast until we need to stop, right? So, Scott Goggles, Sunstar, Get It Performance, you know, they haul my bike down, so big thanks to them guys. SSI, WXCR, the series I run at home, Twin Air Filters, Works Connection, Cycra, IMS, Quad Tech, you know, Wiseco Pistons, and engine components for making this thing last all, you know, the whole race and hopefully all year. You know, Blingstar, FMF, you know, is here today, and it's definitely a big deal. Liat, JT Racing, CD Boots, my mom at home for being, you know, being the computer mom, the Seagill at home or whatever. And, you know, God, I just love this sport and hell with it. I'm tired, but it was worth it.
Here you go, ladies and gentlemen, Adam McGill, taking second place here to open up the season, and here he is, man. If I'm counting it back right, he's 8 race wins away from being the winningest GNCC racer of all time, but most importantly, he is your Moose Racing River Ranch GNCC champ, Chris Borich! Chris, what a day, man, I tell you, it was one of those days you really don't know what to expect, and it being the first race of the season, a lot of people, it's got a lot of nerves, a lot of people pretty anxious, pretty excited, and you don't know what to expect out of people. So it looked like, you know, you were trying to go hard for the start there, but you used your head on it, it looked like quite a bit.
Yeah, this whole weekend here was just pretty good. I mean, I went out for practice, and usually I'm pretty stressed out there, and this year just came into it knowing that the track's just going to be rough, and you're just going to have to hang on to the bike and just work on it. And that's what we did, and worked out.
Let's talk about this, man. That first lap, you got around, you got into the lead, and we were talking about this, and you know, I kind of thought, okay, Chris Borich, they said, Borich just dropped back to third over at the FMF PowerPoint. He went around, and the other guys went up. He might have gotten stuck, this, that, and the other. And I'm thinking in the back of my mind, I bet you Chris Borich might have did that on purpose. He didn't probably want to lead at that point.
No, actually I did want to lead, but came up to it and just had a brain fart there. Just didn't even know where I was. I looked over and those guys were going up over it, and Adam got by, and I was eating his dust for a while, and then I was like, all right, time to go. And like I said, he made a mistake in one of the 90 corners, was able to sneak underneath him and pretty much tried to stay out front the whole day from there, and last lap coming in, I ended up smoking a lapper in the rear, flipping over to bars, and was able to get back up from that and get going. So
yeah, I was going to ask you about that. I hear that Racer TV, the NBC folks, got that all on video, man. That's probably going to be on the highlight reel.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I'm sorry for whoever I hit out there, but I was just coming into a section, and it looked like he was going to keep going, and I was just trying to blitz the whoops to try to slingshot around him on the outside, and I don't know if his bike stalled or what, and I just came in, crushed him, and flipped over the bars, was able to flip it back over, get it going again, and didn't bend anything up, didn't mess anything up, so I was thankful for that.
Well, I'll tell you one thing, that guy's got a story to tell. He can literally say he got ran over by Chris Boards, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
Not a lot of people probably going to be able to say that. They can say they got beat, but never got ran over by you. But anyway, Chris, phenomenal start to the season. Obviously, I mean, you got your goal set, your sight set on championship number 5, and this is the best way to get working at it, man. Take that race win.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, just been working hard. Like I said, I had a bunch of people down this year, and it's been a good time, and everything's working great. Bike's working awesome. We got some new sponsors, and I got my own exhaust this year. HMF hooked me up, and gonna do the HMF Porch X series, and I got my own custom bumper from IQ, so it's definitely looking good.
Was.
Yeah, definitely, but definitely everything. I mean, everybody that's been behind me, it's been awesome.
Anybody else that you need to send those shout-outs to today?
Oh, yeah, definitely. My mom and my dad, my fiance, Don, my mechanic, Glenn. He's pretty much behind the scenes. He don't come to too many races, but hats off to him. He did an awesome job, and bike worked phenomenal. My brother, my friends that came down, just everybody out there. Maxxis tires were working awesome. Precision stabilizer, MSR, Yield Cycle Barn, big help this year. Fox Shocks, Hyper Wheels, Scott, Twin Air, Walsh, Mike's here today, so hats off to him. Stuff worked awesome. IQ, the Serbies, DP Brakes, Larry's here, so they worked great. HMF, XC Bob, Tire Balls, G4. We picked up another sponsor, Wiseco's Pistons, give me some more power, and everything's working good, so can't thank those guys enough. CV4, Pro Taper, ATV Innovations, Shoei, Quad Tech, and Motor X Oils, and if I forgot anybody else, thank you.
Hey, not a problem, man. I got one more question. What's the deal with those 2 big heads, man?
Oh, I have no idea. They said they had a surprise for me out in the woods, and here I come around with 2 big giant heads.
What did you think when you saw that?
I don't even know. They posted something on Facebook. Fun Chris is at home, so they made like a I don't even know, a standing thing of me.
These guys are crazy, man. He's a fat. Ladies and gentlemen, Chris Porch, Moose Racing River Ranch GNCC champion. We're going to bring these guys all out front and center as we've got more celebrations to continue. Right now, get your cameras out and snap those photos as, once again, we congratulate these top 3 overall. Walker is getting all the stuff there. And your top 3 overall once more. 3rd place, Walker Fowler. 2nd place, Adam McGill. And your champion, Chris Porch. Alrighty, we're gonna let you guys take some photos. We'll have some opportunities for you guys to meet and greet with them here in just a moment as our XC2 Pro-Am class riders, I think, are working their way through the slick off-road wash station there. As you can see, look how good these bikes are looking up front and stuff. They got a quick spray off on some of the number plates and so forth, just a quick. Well, Walker's looks completely clean. He must have done the whole 9 yards. Give me the detail works and everything. All right, one more order of business before we go. This is what we like. I think a lot of us like most about GNCC podium celebrations, you know, as we say, always, to the victor goes the spoils in GNCC, the sweet, sweet spray of champagne. And where are you guys from right there? We got a whole team of, we got San Sebastian, Puerto Rico. By the way, you guys, just to let you know, Chris Porch, Walker Fowler, Adam McGill, 40 different nations were listening in worldwide and watching the webcast here today. 40, well, that's what we knew of. There were probably more than that, but we knew of 40 at one point. Israel was even on, man, believe it or not. So It's pretty cool that we had 40 different nations listening to our Racer TV webcast or more. And thanks to all you folks that tuned in for that. We've got more podium celebrations coming up, but right now we've got Adam McGill swag bag ready to These guys get pretty serious about their service. That's cool. Adam McGill and the swag bag comes unglued once more. And look, Chris Quartz is going to get... No, I'm just kidding. I was going to say give his quad away, but I'm just kidding. That'd be one way to top him, I guess. All right, we got XC2 Pro-Am class podiums to go here in just a moment, and not only that, I believe we've got a top amateur that we're going to be awarding as well. Stand by. More of our GNCC podium celebrations continue here from the AMSOIL Grand National Cross Country Championship Round 1, the Moose Racing River Ranch GNCC.
Well, that's going to do it for GNCC Live for this ATV race here at River Ranch. Here's your top 10 results once again for the XC1 and XC2 classes combined. And a reminder that we'll be back on live Tuesday for the bike edition of the Moose Racing River Ranch GNCC, all a part of the 2013 AMSOIL Grand National Cross Country Series. For Rodney Tomlin, Jen Kenyon, Stu Baylor, and everybody here at Racer TV, have a good evening, and we'll see you again on Tuesday.